perfect circle. Imagine. Good morning, everybody.
That was good.
You like that?
Yes.
It's a bit on the creepy side.
Travis, maybe that's why I liked it.
Yeah?
Sometimes if someone says something creepy, I'm like, I like that. That explains everything.
Imagine. Yeah, we could all imagine, but this world is fucked up. That's what I say today.
Yeah, it was a really depressing day yesterday. Really fucking depressing.
It's strange. You wake up in the morning and you kind of turn on your Twitter or your social media and you just people used to joke about it and you hope the world didn't blow up overnight.
Right.
And then you see pray for Orlando and you go, oh God, here we go again, right?
I went to bed and I had heard there was a shooting or something in Orlando.
Yeah.
And the day after this poor fucking girl got shot by a narcissist.
Right, from The Voice.
Yeah.
You're playing at that venue.
I am, yeah. People were sending me the text, tweets with the photo in it, I guess from the news story. But now the venue is closed. So they're going to reopen. I'm guessing my show will be okay because it's 2 weeks away. But there's like grief counselors for all those poor people that work there.
Unbelievable. What, some just crazy-ass fan?
Yeah, of course. Just some fucking jerk-off, some nobody. I'm guessing he was obsessed with her and just went there and did that.
Right. And just horrible. And then what, a couple days later, in Orlando again, you got this mass shooting.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it because it's stupid. Nothing will change. I'm so sick of I'm so sick of this.
Nothing will change.
It's another mass shooting. Everyone does their part. We need to do this. No, we need to do this. And then, and then everyone just moves on with their lives. And then fast forward a few more weeks or month, and then there'll be another pray for blank, and we'll start all over again. And this person said this, and Obama's not saying this, and the libtards are doing this. And, oh, God, it's just nonsense.
Yeah, just a bunch of idiots.
Well, what's your solution, Hope? I don't have one. I don't have a solution. I don't think anyone has a solution. It's just frustrating how everyone just plays their part, though.
It's like everyone has a line in the sand that they just kind of stand behind and yell at each other.
Yeah.
And nothing, it's like nobody, I just tweeted something yesterday about how come it can't be Islamic radicalism and guns. Like everyone has to have, it's like everyone has their interest vested in one solution and one answer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all three. And mental illness, of course. You can't rule that one out.
Oh, well, mental illness, once again, is a biggie here. It seems like this guy was another, mentally ill person.
Yeah. He was, he ISIS inspired and he credited them, but he's just a nut as well.
Right. And he talked about the Boston bombers because he called 911, I guess, during the whole fucking thing to say, he pledges allegiance to blah, blah, blah. I don't even know his name. And I don't even want to know his name. I know they've said it a few times and probably at this point it should have soaked in, but I don't even feel like learning his fucking name. And I really wish the media would take his picture off the fucking TV.
They won't. They know it and they don't care.
It's the same fucking thing we've talked about over the years. You run on the field. Actually, I'm watching the NBA championships. And,
yes, guy ran out.
And in Cleveland, someone runs out onto the court and they're like, we are not showing you what's going on because we don't want to encourage this type of behavior. And then the news has no problem throwing this guy on TV with all his stats. So the next nut job goes, oh, this is the number I got to beat.
Yeah.
It doesn't make fucking sense. Who gives a fuck if someone at a sporting event is drunk, runs on the field, and moons the whole crowd and looks like a complete and utter tool? Show that guy. I don't give a fuck. But don't show these guys.
Yeah,
they want attention.
They get it completely wrong. Like they do completely the entertaining one they don't show.
Right.
And this guy, they can't stop.
Right, because, there it is. It was a guy that, okay, there is video of this guy, and they tackled him.
His phone, you see his phone slide out?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I didn't see this video. His phone goes flying. See, you got to show this. Oh, the guy's running across the court. No shirt on. It says Trump sucks on his chest.
Oh, that's funny. All right.
He gets tackled from behind, and his phone goes flying and just slides all the way across the court.
And with Trump saying that stuff about look, I get why you say that about Muslims. It's a frustrating thing with Islam and but, thank God the cops they're very intuitive in L.A. because another guy showed up in L.A. with guns and was going to do he said he was going to do something.
Right, a gay pride parade out there in L.A., right?
Yeah, so now let's just say he does it.
Yeah.
Who do you ban? I mean, it's like, that's why that's a stupid solution. It's like, that's not going to stop what the major problem is. So let's just say you ban Muslims. Okay, then this shooting does that. Who do you ban to stop that?
So what?
It's a childish solution.
So the solution, some people think the solution is to just ban all Muslims, I guess, right?
It's just silly.
Well, that's pretty much impossible at this point.
Yeah, and he was born in the United States. It's just an idiotic, and it's like...
He was born in New York.
Well, yeah, New York, okay. It's a foolish solution.
I guess I'm just making it a little local, but he was born here, and then he moved, I guess, eventually to Florida. His parents are from Afghanistan. Why do I know all this stuff? I don't want to know anything about this fucking guy. And then there was something else in there. Oh, and then his father was pretty radical.
Oh, was he?
He had a little, I'm not sure if it was like a public access show or something, but he had some radical things to say about the Taliban.
He was playing the president, right, of Afghanistan or something?
Huh?
Wasn't he pretending to be the president of Afghanistan?
His father?
Yeah.
I don't know that part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like in one episode, he would pretend to be him. In the other episode, he would say he was going to run for the presidency, which happened like months ago.
Oh, okay.
He was crazy. I think just
a little nutty.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah. And then it's another assault rifle. Don't even say that word. People will fucking rip your throat out. Don't mention assault rifles. You're not taking my fucking guns.
Yeah,
you're not taking my fucking guns.
And this guy was a legal gun owner.
Yeah, he got him legally recently, I guess.
Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week he got him legally.
Despite being interviewed by the FBI twice for ties to terrorism.
But they closed their case on the guy. They closed their case. Twice. And he was a security guard, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the FBI was aware of this guy, but they didn't really have much on him. So they closed their books on this guy. I mean, they were certainly gonna, they were still kind of looking at him, kinda, obviously. But I'm just so sick of just talking about these mass shootings because nothing changes. Like you said, everyone has their line in the sand. I don't even know what my line in the sand is, and I think that's okay to say too, because people are like, well, what do you do? I don't know what I think. I don't even think it's easy to start gun control to a point where you're going to be able to stop this shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know it's embarrassing. We're an embarrassing country. We're an embarrassing country.
I think the answer lies with both sides trying to work together on something, but I guess that's really stupid to say in America in the year 2016, where you have these two sides that need to maybe come and work together a little bit on these issues.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
Gun collectors just want they want whatever they want, and they don't care if it's negative, and the liberals just won't, for an ounce, believe that it's anything to do with anything else other than guns. They think that it's just the guns doing it themselves, and it's like, fuck all these people.
Right.
If you're a fringe person, like, you're part of the problem.
Right.
On either side. I don't care if you think you're not, you are. Because you're as stubborn as the person across the aisle, and neither one of you guys is doing anything. It's fucking really annoying.
Yeah. I got some dumb heat from a tweet I wrote before I went to bed last night, and all it was today in a nutshell on Twitter. I wasn't even making a political point. I'm like, this is what I saw on Twitter all fucking day. I said, Muslim commits horrific act of terror, ban all Muslims. Terrorist uses, it just updated, sorry. Terrorist uses AR-15, don't you dare take my guns. That's what I was hearing all fucking day on Twitter. It's like, ban all Muslims, but leave my fucking guns alone. It was sort of like similar to, I guess, what you were, your tweet. Can both those things be a problem? Can they?
Yeah.
That's a question. Can they? Just asking that question, they're going to fucking come out of the woodwork now and scream.
Yeah, people just don't want to give an inch. We deserve the problem because of the way we handle it. Mm-hmm. We refuse to do anything of substance. We just won't do it.
Right.
So we're going to keep getting show. This is what we look at Israel and we're like, wow, how does that happen? Mm-hmm. How do you live in a place where and now it's happening here.
Oh, yeah.
And we're standing there, and even guys who are armed to the teeth, without meaning to be, you're a part of the problem because you're refusing to bend and to go, yeah, this is a horrible problem in the country. You don't, just because the guns, the old argument of, well, cars don't kill people. I get that.
Right.
But this is where we are right now. Like, this is the problem.
But I also understand the other side a little bit. You know, when these tragedies happen, gun sales go through the fucking roof because now you're thinking, all right, I got to protect myself and my fucking family from this craziness. So I like I said, I don't have a solution. Because that sort of makes sense in a strange way, too. If you know this craziness is out there happening, you're going to run to a gun store and get some kind of protection for yourself.
Before they get banned, and, you know, yeah. That's what people do. They're going to get banned, so I got to go out and buy one.
Right. I think the opportunity to control all this shit, you know, passed us by a long fucking time ago. That's why I don't want to talk. I really don't want to talk about this. But obviously, everyone else is. Huh?
Other countries do okay with this. I mean, not to the extent that we have the problem.
Right.
The leader of the free world.
Right.
And the ones who tell everybody else what democracy should be and how to live. Other countries don't really have this problem. Not to the extent that we do.
Oh, God, no. I mean, we're off the charts, you know, but, you know.
We're just a violent place.
It's our right? It's our right. But, I mean, look at all the news channels. We got them all on. They're doing their part. You know, interviewing people that were in the club, and you know that guy's friend died, and blah blah blah, and then they'll personalize the victims, and then I don't know, a week or two from now we'll just move on. We'll just move on until the next one hits, and then we'll be in the same fucking place, and nothing will change. And then Obama will say his shit, and then people will yell and scream at, you know, that Obama didn't say radical Islamic terrorism or terrorist, whatever.
Which, you know, it's irritating that he won't. It's at a point now where it's so ridiculous.
Right. Where
it's like, I get maybe you didn't want to be used as propaganda or anymore, or for whatever the reason. I'm sure there's a reason for it.
I guess
But now he's embarrassing the country by just not saying it.
It has been said over the last few years he doesn't want to condemn a whole religion, and he feels like people will make that leap if he says that. Don't fucking I'm just telling you what I've heard a million fucking times, so relax. But I mean, in this case, he did call 911 and pledge his allegiance to ISIS. So it's pretty obvious, you know, that this was radical Islamic terrorism.
Yeah, and he said that's why he's doing it. It's like, I get why Obama doesn't want to condemn all these people, but how about you be a president for the people who are being murdered, and you speak honestly about the guy who did it.
Right.
But then fuck all that too, because that doesn't explain the white guy who was going to do it in L.A.
Right.
That doesn't fix that problem.
I know you had a busy weekend, but did you have the time to congratulate Donald Trump?
No, I did not, but
I hope everyone had a chance to congratulate Donald Trump, because he told us so.
Yeah.
And then he told us on Twitter. What did he say? Thanks for all your congratulations, but what was the exact tweet? Please give it to me. Did you congratulate him? Why didn't you congratulate him, Jimmy?
I didn't think of it, to be honest with you. I was too busy praising him verbally to friends.
Here's his tweet. Appreciate the congrats for being right on radical Islamic terrorism. I don't want congrats. I want toughness and vigilance.
We must be smart.
We must be smart. I mean, the part of that tweet's okay, but the appreciate the congrats for being right. God.
It literally... That doesn't explain what almost happened in L.A. And it wouldn't explain who is the guy that shot up the black church.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that wouldn't handle either of those.
Yeah.
You can't, what are you going to do, throw a citizen out? How would being tough on radical Islam...
How close was the L.A. thing? I mean, he was heading there with some weapons?
There. Yeah, and he was, like, parked for some reason, and who knows if he was acting suspicious because he wanted to get caught, whatever, but he had rifles and some explosive devices in the car, and he said he was going to do something.
Right.
He had driven there for that.
Right.
The city was in L.A. heading to Santa Monica.
Right.
What's that? For the parade. Oh, please, telling me? I know the... Oh, sorry. Was he on... I thought he was on Santa Monica Boulevard. I didn't realize he was going down to Santa Monica.
Well, the phones are lit, Jimmy.
Yeah, people want to talk about it.
I'm going to start right from the top. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I give a fuck what you have to say, but I mean, I don't give a fuck about screening,
Yeah, we'll just go
one way or the other. Let's just start from the top. Alex in Dallas, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, yeah, just to add to the Vitale discussion, the guy who ran on the court with the Trump sucks on his chest, if you look online, you can actually find that he was picked up by the Bang Bus guys, that old porn site that's been around for a while.
Sure.
and he could not get a hard on with the porn star actress that was in the car with him.
Well, I can't fault him for that.
I can't fault him either. But I mean, and he had a friend with him. He was like trying to pass the guy a condom, and he like kind of touched his dick while he was doing it, and the camera guy starts giving him shit. It's just fucking hilarious.
How do you know this?
Yeah.
You can look it up. First of all, I frequent many porn sites. So
I understand.
You're a good boy, Alex.
Yes, you are.
Got to get that poison out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, obviously, there's some funny porn sites out there, and I think they were making fun of him on, like, a video one time. And just recently, that's how I'd seen it.
Right. Well, I mean, I was kind of bummed we didn't get to see that because, you know, they don't want to encourage that type of behavior. They don't want other people running out during sporting events.
Yeah.
So they're able to calm down that behavior a little bit. So stupid.
It is silly, right?
Huh?
It was like, I think it was right in the middle of the game, too. I don't think the game was over or anything.
Oh, yeah, no, I was watching the game, and then all of a sudden they go to that weird camera angle, and they're like, well, somebody has run out onto the court, and we're not going to show that because we don't want to encourage that type of behavior.
Absolutely.
I just saw the video for the first time this morning. I probably should have done my own research and figured someone had the video out there, but it's hilarious. The guy's running. It says Trump sucks across his chest. He has no shirt on. They tackle him. All the players turn around to find out what's going on, and then his phone, like Jimmy said, just slides. How many feet did that phone slide?
We think we have to start with how many yards. I would say that was a good 40-yard slide.
Do you think they gave him his phone back?
You know, I don't know. Who got a hold of that phone? I'm going to guess they did because it wasn't, you know, it's right there. And it probably it went to the first row. But yeah, I'm hoping.
Oh, God, that was fucking funny. All right, Alex, thanks for your info.
Thank you.
We're going to try to find that video of that guy.
All right, yeah, love you, Jimmy. Take it easy.
Thank you, mister.
Right, let's go to Sean in Kentucky. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, boys.
Hey.
How are you?
Hi,
Good.
Sean.
So, yes, my thought is in that killing in the club, what if there was someone there who was gay and no one knew it? And that was the way friends, family found out.
One of my thoughts this weekend, because when this stuff happens, you do have all these strange outer thoughts besides the main story.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, man, maybe someone was in there that didn't tell his family yet.
Yeah, I know. That's why everybody was checking my calendar. See where I was working.
And it's tragic, and that could be something that's so minor at that point that it just, it's overlooked. Nobody cares, and hopefully their family wouldn't care. If they are, then they're just a piece of shit.
It's just one of those weird thoughts you have, though.
And there are people who go to those clubs. You go with friends, and you're not gay. A preemptive strike.
Just in case there's security footage.
The Marine Corps and a bunch of guys went with some friends of ours to a gay bar, and it's probably one of the best times we had. There's a bunch of Navy guys there, so that sums it up.
All right.
Right.
I don't think I've ever, honestly, I don't think I've ever been in one. Me and Colin went to a trans show one time years ago.
I remember you talking about that. Right.
And that's probably 2000 we went, or 2001. And that was the only time.
Yeah, I've never.
And probably some of the best bar service I've ever had.
All right.
Oh, well, look at you. I mean, you're really selling.
Yeah, you really are.
Bars.
Singing the praises.
I've listened to Jimmy way too much.
Yes. Well, so hey, wait a second now.
All right, Sean. Thank you, buddy.
Right,
let's go to, sorry about that, trying to get to a bunch of these calls. Ian in Florida, go ahead.
That's the best, though, just to chill and fucking...
Ian.
Hello?
That's the best, though, just to chill and fucking... Where's season 2, Jimmy?
Is that...
Up.
What's
the cartoon?
Season 2, it's funny. The perks are in production, and I have to kind of check this week.
There you have it.
I love you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. What was he?
He was doing that. There's a video.
That's the best, though.
That's the best, though. It's very funny. It's a Sherrod remix where I guess when Stanhope was in, he went.
No, Stanhope's look on his face is priceless.
Oh, the thing that was tweeted all weekend.
Yeah, and Sherrod said,
"Oh, Jesus!
I didn't get it at first either. You repeated it.
Of course. Well, now you got to play it for everybody. Could we find it really fast?
O&A sub fucking loves you guys. Come on, keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Who is she?
We're trying to keep it up. Could you find the Sherrod remix? I loved it.
Play it. Play it
Why
right
is
now.
E-Rock rolling his eyes?
We'll fucking love you guys.
Eric, why are you rolling your eyes? Huh? What's
That's
that?
the best, though. Just to chill and fucking...
Eric, what's up?
I'm trying to find it.
Oh,
Yeah, but why are you so mad?
Go
and
on
rolling your
YouTube.
eyes.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Of course it is.
No, go to that'sthebesto.com. There's actually a website, and it just loops it.
Wait, do you know the guy that did it? You seem a little too close to the video.
No, it's you. I saw it on.
I'm on the sub, man.
Hold
What are
on,
you talking
he's
about?
Das Abesso.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's DASS.
All right, we'll find it. Thank you, Ian. We're
We'll
looking
find
for
it.
it right
You
now.
almost got hung up on. You got to be quicker with your Das Abessos.
That's the best song.
The fucking. I thought the phone dropped, and then he's.
Didn't the show account tweet it?
No.
You didn't like it?
It was the life. Go to you. I'm gonna go kiss E-Rock.
Something
Just
is
put it in the YouTube search engine. Oh, E-Rock.
Something's
Such
going
an eager
on over
boy.
there.
Such a sweet boy.
You guys didn't like it? Paul is.
Huh?
You didn't like it? I'm trying
He's
to-
spelling it wrong. Das Abesso. Oh my God. Das Abesso. What the fuck are you doing? Not Das Abesto. It's not a fucking spice.
I don't know how you spell gibberish, all right?
All right. DASSE. I think it's BESSO.
Yeah.
Try that. God damn it, I got it wrong too. Maybe one S.
Just a chill and fucking.
There you go.
That's the best dog.
I literally don't know how to spell it.
That's the best dog.
You could have just went to my Twitter. I retweeted it. I loved it.
That's the best dog.
I loved it.
That's the best dog. That's the best dog. That's the best dog. That's the best
Go down a bit.
That's the best dog. Fucking. That's the best dog. That's the best dog. That's the best dog. That's the best dog. Fucking. That's the chill and fucking. That's the chill and. That's the chill.
Wow, you picked up on that with that guy Ian? I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. at
Not the first time I didn't, but this because I thought he hung up,
Yeah.
or we got disconnected, and then he said it again, and it's just because I heard it yesterday.
Yeah, I think you got to go up. You got to go up from there. You went by it. You keep going up. I said I love Sherrod or something like that in the tweet. Keep going up. You can't find it. Keep going up.
Back off.
Oh yeah.
Got it?
Yeah. Let's try that. Yeah. Here you go. All right, it stopped the whole show, and tweet it out for the people because Doug Stanhope's face is the best because he's sitting there like, what the fuck?
That's the best dog. Just a chill and fucking. That's the best dog. 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 Fucking. That's the best dog.
Must just be a big club hit.
Yeah. That's the best dog. That's the best dog. That's the best dog. Fucking. That's the chill and fucking. That's the chill and fucking. That's the chill and that's the best dog. That's the chill and fucking. That's the chill and.
This could definitely be in a fucking. I could definitely see doing fucking what amyl nitrate or whatever it is.
Molly's or something.
Clubs.
And then Doug Stanhope's face at the end is the best. Eric doesn't like it.
No, I like it fine.
What's going on with you? You all right?
Just a chill and.
There you go. See? See, now you got it,
It's on
Paul.
everyone's phone.
Huh?
It's on everybody's phone.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the phones here. Thank you to Ian in Florida for reminding us of that. Zach on Long Island. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Pretty good, buddy. Pretty good.
You know what? Like, I'm a gun owner, and I'm also a reasonable person. And I mean, I think that there needs to be more agreement between the both sides because you get the people that are out there, the gun owners, and they just start talking about, you know, the Muslims are the issue and Islam's the issue, and then you get the people that are just totally gun grabbers, and all they want to do is they see something horrible like this, and they say, take the guns, and no one can find a common ground, and the common ground obviously is mental illness and screening.
Yeah.
If this dude was on some FBI checklist, he should never be able to own a gun.
Well, isn't that the NRA fighting that though? Like, didn't they say because they're afraid that or their argument was that other Americans would be put on that list and prevented from getting a gun, or it would be a way to prevent you by just throwing you on a checklist.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but that's the perfect reason to not be able to own a gun. If the FBI is investigating you, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want people
You know, and
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, sir. Continue.
No, I was just saying there's got to be some common ground where people should be able to own guns.
Yeah.
But normal people that have some reasoning in their brain, you know, not someone that wants to go up and, shoot a gay club. And then you see all these tweets saying, you know, Westboro Baptist Church and all these other psychopaths saying, God sent his arsenal to kill these gays, and you know.
Well, at least those guys didn't make asses out of themselves.
Right.
I'm always happy the Westboro Church chimes in with something helpful.
Sure. I think mental illness is a huge part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And you know, someone that has mental illness in their extended family, and maybe a little taste himself, you just don't know who the fucking person's going to be that's actually going to go from saying and doing fucking crazy shit to actually going out in public and doing something horrific like this. So that's not easy either, but we certainly got to take a closer look at the mental illness angle in this whole thing. And I'm not, you know, because I know I'm going to hear it later. I'm not one of these guys saying take the guns. I really am not. I just don't know what the fucking solution is. You know, there's a lot of people out there like, you know, you ban the assault rifles and that will take care of the problem. I don't think it will.
And a lot of the guys,
there's plenty of people that have 30-round magazines in their handguns, you know.
Right.
It's just not needed, and I'm tired of hearing about why it's okay. And then if you say that, people who are pro-gun, they shut down the conversation by going, it's my right, and you're just trying to grab gun. Like, everyone has their own way of shutting down the conversation.
It's a gun grab.
Yeah, from their point of view.
Grab.
Yeah, it's not.
I think there'll be plenty of guns for everybody for a very long time.
Yeah,
that's what you got to admit today. That's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, you can think all you want that the politicians are coming for your guns. I mean, maybe they get a little taste every once in a while, but in general, there's going to be plenty of guns for everybody. Don't you worry.
It's like people worry about Trump and are afraid of Trump, and you know, I will say that I'm really irritated with the way he's handling like this. It's just like, you fucking stop it being so petty, accepting a congratulations.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? There's 50 dead people.
Yeah.
And that's how the guy who wants to be president handles it.
Yeah.
Thanks for your congrats, but we have to be, shut the fuck up.
Congrats. Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Well,
so
thank you guys for taking my call. I appreciate it. And sort of say, Jimmy, I really love you, and I met you a couple times over at Anthony's house for a couple of his parties, and you're just a funny ass.
Well, thank you very much. I hope I was delightful to you in person. People say I'm a delight in person.
You're such a tender lover, too.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Zach. Thank you, buddy. Zach in Long Island. Let's say hi to Kevin in Louisiana. Kevin, go ahead.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, yes. My question is kind of on what the other guy said. If you've been on an FBI watch list or something like that, why would he be able to get a gun? I think the big problem is whenever they put stuff forward in Congress for stuff like this, for to ban whatever or laws, they put so much other bullshit in that law, in that packet, that's why they can't agree on a certain law. Because, why not just put one in for that one particular reason?
Right.
You're on the FBI watch list, you can't get a gun. But it's not like that. They're going to throw in 50 other things, and either side's they're not going to agree on everything that's in there.
Because let's make a deal, that's why. That's the way it works.
Right.
Exactly.
I'll give you this, but you got to put my little thing in here. Mm-hmm. And then the two things have nothing to do with each other, which is always strange, too.
Yeah.
I want to ban assault rifles. Well, if you let me ban sugar.
Yeah. And we need money for the highways.
Right. It's like, what? It's all... It's a mess of shit in one bill. Yeah, of course.
One more thing.
Hey, I got to stop you for a second because I'm trying to get all the info out there. I mean, the FBI was looking at this guy, and they determined he didn't do anything illegally, and then they sort of closed the books on what they were looking at. So he had every right. It's sad to say, but he still had every right to legally purchase, some firearms.
Yeah.
And that's why that happened. And we don't know about all the times the FBI definitely talks to these fucking guys and actually stop a real thing that will never make the news.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So has Alex Jones or Jesse Ventura came out and called this some kind of false flag thing and said the FBI wanted him to get that gun so they could start some kind of a war.
If they're doing this is where the false flag guys got to stop this shit. All it does is get more guns sold. It's the absolute opposite of what they want. Gun grabs, the guns go through the roof, the sales.
Well, Alex Jones, if you go back, could you go back one page there, Eric? I just saw something. Then you could move forward with what you were doing. Alex Jones, blah, blah, the name of this guy, associated with CIA and FBI operative.
I didn't even
so go to his Twitter. Go to his Twitter. Let's see a couple of his tweets about this. Let's see. What does it say, Eric? You find any of these? Yeah, there you go. Associated. Go down to Alex Jones's actual tweets. Associated with CIA and FBI operative. He tweeted that, and then he wasn't alone. Some people are wondering what the hell's going on, because how was this guy able to kill all those people and with doors not blocked? He can only block one of the exits, if you think about it. If it was one guy,
we probably just started shooting in a circle. And then they said at one point he had penned them in.
Right.
And I guess he got some group of people penned in. I don't know how many of them he killed that way.
Penned them in. Yeah, but we don't know the club, so maybe there's a section where there's only one way out. And
VIP. He did pen them in at one point, I guess.
Right.
But what happens?
An Instagram video of someone who was outside the club, and I swear it sounded like 30 to 40 shots back to back to back within 10 seconds.
Well, that's the assault rifle. That's the damage those things can do. But be careful saying that, because you'll get screamed at.
The assault rifles I've had enough of, and I said something yesterday, and people are like, don't get on the anti-gun bandwagon. It's happening all the time. What do you mean bandwagon? What do you think? I want Hillary to like me?
Yeah, but you can fire those shots.
Sorry, I mean just in general. I'm speaking in general. I don't mean
fire those shots with a handgun.
I know that.
Assault rifle or handgun, they're all semi-automatic, which means you can only fire one round at one time.
I like the fact that you can fucking take a little thing and put each bullet in. That's what I like. The fucking something that fucking Matt Dillon would have shot in Gunsmoke.
Where you have to stuff the.
No, I don't need something from 1406. Just something that is a fucking where you roll it. I don't even know what it's called, but it's not an automatic. And I know that people are like, well, the government has this and bad guys have that. I understand that.
Right.
But how do you got to do something.
Right.
Well,
I'm willing to live in a country where everyone has those guns. This is it's too much. It's happening too much.
Yeah. That's the difference with what happened here and what happened in France. Last year, where they had AK-47s and they were pure automatic weapons.
Right.
And they were just pulling the trigger and firing however many rounds a minute. Whereas, he bought an AR-15 legally, but you do have to pull the trigger for it to fire one shot at a time.
How many people were killed in the French shooting?
Oh shit! 130?
Let's look up. Was that in the nightclub, or was that? And there was also wasn't there two guys for the nightclub there?
Yeah, I see. I don't know.
Was it 130? I didn't think it was that much, but it was.
I thought it was 100. I want to say 100.
128.
Oh no, he's right.
Yeah, so they killed 78 more people, but there were actually two of them shooting.
Right.
So this guy did almost that. Like the half the work that one shooter would have done, I think.
So people thought you were on the bandwagon?
I didn't say anything. I didn't remember what I said.
Right.
But it's like you guys with guns have become as unreasonable as people who won't say radical Islam.
Right.
Is like somebody criticizes them or says, look, and they're like, you educate yourself. How much? 50 dead people. It's happening all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not knee-jerk reaction. I think we've given it a shot. Like we've weighed the evidence. It seems like we've
There's so many of these that have happened in the last few years. I bet you, if we made a list, we'd be like, oh yeah, and that one. There's probably a few in your head that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one happened and this one.
And I'm fine with Americans being armed.
Right.
I really am.
Yep.
I don't want them to take the Second Amendment away. I want people to be able to fucking. I don't care if people walk around with guns.
Well, people were arguing back and forth on Twitter, and I saw one tweet. This guy, he explained it all. He goes, "Let's not forget, people. Cain killed Abel with a rock."
That's a good point. I mean, that's and if Kane killed 50 people in a nightclub, I'd want to hear it.
If Kane had an automatic weapon, it would have been Kane. Kane would have killed Abel and every fucking villager.
Yeah, Abel's family.
Right. Start with that.
All right, guys, punch it out.
Bye, mister.
But the point is, I guess the point of that tweet was, look, if we ban guns, they'll find other ways to, kill us.
How? Well, how are they going to kill us?
I did say we're going from the top to the bottom, so
sure.
It's Snowy from Michigan, who's a regular. Snowy, go ahead, buddy. What do you got on this?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's becoming almost background noise. Nothing's going to change. If Sandy Hook didn't change any gun laws, what's this going to do?
Yep.
Oh, God. I mean, there are people that actually thought there would be significant change in this country after Sandy Hook. When you're lining up 5- and 6-year-olds and executing them.
Yeah.
As a country, I'm thinking to myself, and look, this will be misconstrued again, but I was just thinking as a country, we would come together a little bit and try to figure something out. And that doesn't mean, because there's people out there that are going to translate that as, oh, you want them to take our guns away. No, I thought as a country, though, that we would get together and go,
sure.
Holy fuck, now that we're massacring 5- and 6-year-olds, maybe there's a better way to do things, or maybe there's something we can figure out here. And it turns out nothing really changed.
That's why people who are yelling gun grab are full of shit, because the left-wing, very liberal president was weeping on television, and they didn't come and get your guns. Stop it. And then their answer is going to be, well, it's because we were very vigilant. They're not going to take you fucking...
Wait, you mentioned Obama, tearing up. Don't you know that was fake?
Oh, God, I know. It's amazing.
You know those tears were fake? You know that, right?
Yeah.
You do know that. I mean, that was explained to us stupid people, that the Obama tears were fake.
No. Yeah.
Thank God there's smarter people out there than me. I really thought Obama as a human being was kind of bummed that he had to talk about a whole bunch of 5- and 6-year-olds being massacred. I'm sorry that I thought that was real tears. I apologize. We can't even agree on that.
I know.
We can't even agree that maybe no matter what his politics are as a human being, he was kind of fucking bummed out after Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Don't even want to agree on that, do we?
They're just a country of stubborn cunts. We really are. That's what we are. We're stubborn cunts, and we just stand across and we yell at each other, and nobody gets anything done because there's no middle ground. You know what I mean? It's like the fringes run the parties. You're a fucking hardcore NRA supporter on the right, or you're a bleeding heart liberal on the left, and you want to pretend that there's no violence associated. It's just stupid.
I like being in the middle. I really do.
Me too, especially in a threesome.
I feel like it's a logical place, but then you get squished from both sides, and then if you are sort of feel like you're in the middle on these issues, then people look at you like you're wishy-washy. Like, because I'm here to say I don't know what the solution is. I really don't. I don't know if it's enacting drastic gun control laws. I don't know what the answer is.
Hey guys, let me mention one more thing before I go.
Yes, Snowy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You got blowing me out. I'm a big hockey fan, so one of my idols growing up passed away on Friday, Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe.
Right.
Kind of bummed me out over the weekend, man.
Yeah, that kind of got washed over by all this other stuff.
Well, it happened on Friday when Muhammad Ali had his memorial service. We lost two great within less than a week's time there with
holy fucking
Ali and Howe, man.
Yeah, before the world went down this road again, we were all watching Ali's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Gordie Howe, Gordie Howe was 86, 88. It's still a bummer if you're a hockey fan, but that's a hell of a life.
Especially in the Detroit area. I mean, it's, we don't have, Detroit can't hang its head on too many great athletes, but Gordie Howe is like, around here, between getting Muhammad Ali passing around here and then Gordie Howe, granted, he was 88 years old and the guy was, but the guy was a tough son of a bitch, man. And if you ever watch pictures of the guy playing, he was just, he's one of my idols growing up, man. He was a great hockey player. And everybody ever met the guy also said he was like very humble, very,
Right.
that just bummed me out over the weekend, guys. So.
All right. Do you know what the Gordie Howe hat trick is?
Yep.
Tell the people.
A fight, and a goal, assist, and a fight.
Yeah, that was called the Gordie Howe hat trick.
Actually,
You get a goal, an assist, and you get a fight in.
Oh,
one
I thought you
game.
said a goal, a fist, and a fight.
No,
assist.
a goal, an assist, and
Oh, okay.
a fight. That was known as the Gordie Howe hat trick.
And if you want to check out something that shows what happens when you got into a fight with a guy, check out this some guy played for the Rangers. There's a picture of this guy after he left the hospital.
Right.
His face looked like someone hit him with a 2x4.
Well, that's the beauty of hockey.
I think it's Lou Fontenot or something like that. Check out a picture of that guy. What happened after Gordie got into a fight with a guy.
Was he still playing Gordie or no?
And while we're talking hockey, congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins as they raised the cup last night. So hockey is now over for the year as well, and
basketball's almost over.
And the Penguins got another cup. Yeah, basketball's just about over. It's 3-1 as they go back to Golden State tonight, I believe.
Yeah,
tonight's the next game. Thank you, Snowy.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. To pick up with my crap again.
All right, going down the line now. We say hi to Bill on Long Island. Go ahead, Bill.
Bill.
Hey, good morning, all. Good morning, Jim.
Hi, Bill.
Hey.
So, my big thing here is, Jimmy, you mentioned that Muslims would not have helped in this.
What did I say wouldn't help that?
Yeah, your phone's crapping out. Hopefully we could try it again, Bill. Yeah, you're gone.
Banning Muslims isn't the end.
Right.
God damn it.
Yeah, your phone is crapping out. I did say banning Muslims is not the answer.
But now, what my question is are you okay 100,000 more in as the Hillary Clinton's idea?
No.
Without proper vetting?
Absolutely not.
No, that scares the fuck out of me, too.
I do not want to see all these Syrian refugees coming here without being vetted. Absolutely not.
Right.
Now, and to Opie's point, there absolutely is a middle ground that unfortunately this country will never come to terms with.
Sure.
With gun control. And the simple solution, and I'm all for it, and I'm a Second Amendment guy, I like guns, is to ban the 30-round clip. You know?
Oh my God! You're suggesting that today? Are you nuts?
Why not?
Don't give your fucking Twitter handle.
Yeah, well,
don't fucking.
15-round clips is enough. You know, it's a good gun. It's great for shooting. It's great for bringing down to the range. If you really want to shoot off that many rounds, you can just pop in a 15-round clip. It takes 2 seconds.
You know what?
What's the one under 15?
That's about where you want to be.
I don't think there is one, but maybe 7 or 8.
And that was the one where they were going to limit the number of clicks you could have, and people fought it, right?
On handguns, yeah, that was a thing in New York that Cuomo passed in the middle of the night that made it illegal to have. It was either 8 or 9 rounds in a gun.
Yeah.
When everybody's gun, standard stock as it was, holds one more than that. So filling your gun the way it comes standard from the manufacturer made you a felon. I think since then, they've gone back and fixed that oversight.
Oh.
That was a quick knee-jerk reaction after Sandy Hook.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy to want to read after that massacre, the stupid country trying to do something.
30 is asinine. There is middle ground, but unfortunately, the way we're programmed as a country this day and age, we'll never reach it.
I don't even believe that the two sides will work together in my lifetime.
No,
I don't believe it whatsoever. I don't believe anything will change. That's how we opened our show. This is just nonsense, garbage. It's like someone said, it's background noise. And this one will last till about Friday or Saturday, and then they'll move on to other stories. And it probably won't even make it to Friday, to be honest with you. And then it'll move on, and then those families who are directly affected, they'll be bothered for a very long time for the rest of their lives, but everyone else will move on, and then we'll wake up in about a month from now with another pray for blank, and we'll start all over again. It's just nonsense. It's stupid.
Sadly, you're right. But I want to thank you guys for the time. The show has been absolutely tremendous the last few months, and thank you. Keep up the good work, guys.
All right, Bill. Thank you.
And it's and the mental illness aspect again, which I think is the biggest problem of all the problem. Mental illness is the biggest.
Absolutely.
Because this guy was he didn't live like a radical Muslim. Like there's some photo I saw that I think Saad Moseni retweeted. His wife didn't have the burqa. The kid had a Disney shirt on. Mm-hmm. This was not a guy who lived a radical Muslim life. He's like a guy who, at the end, who is probably mentally ill, just broken nothing of a person, wants to go out and kill people, so he marries himself to this. This is what I'll do.
Yeah.
Like the way that fucking asshole shut up the black church.
Right.
You know, it was for the South or whatever he said it was for.
When you know you're leaving like a little kid behind, I'm telling you that is a lot of mental illness.
Yeah.
That part of it. I understand people do leave their little kids behind because they can't handle whatever and they do shit. I get it, but you have to say that has a lot to do with mental illness.
Sure.
That you're able to look at your little kid and go, yeah, but I need to go to this fucking club and hopefully kill a whole shitload of people.
I got a kid that's going to grow up without a father, but I got to shoot up a bunch of homos.
Right.
That's what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's mental illness more than anything. It really is.
It's just psychotic.
But how do you take care of that?
I'm telling you, people hate when you say that. Like, well, if you hate gay people, there might be some reason. Some people just don't like gay people. All right, fine. But if it bothered you that much seeing two guys kiss on the street, it fucking tapped into something. If you give a shit that much about something that you could just look at and walk away from and not look at again, or not focus on, there's a reason that it bothered you.
But isn't there a theory that has a lot to do with you because you're a little fucked up with the feelings you might have?
Absolutely.
As far as that goes?
Absolutely. And people, when you say that, get mad, but it's the truth.
It's been said by a lot of very smart psychologists over the years that, if you're that bothered, there's something inside you that you like can't control yourself or something.
Yeah, it's silly.
So, all right. Where are we? Let's go to Tori in Connecticut. Tori, go ahead. Just going down the line, man. So whatever you... All right, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Tori.
Sorry, guys. I wanted to talk about the rules in Connecticut here. Connecticut, after Sandy Hook, which both my nephews were involved in but not injured, thank God, we have some of the strictest gun laws. So there's about 150 different guns that you can't own here in Connecticut. One is the AR-15. And one of the main things here in Connecticut also is that you could only have 10-round mags, whether it's a pistol, whether it's a rifle. And if you get caught with anything other than that, it's a felony, and you're looking at jail time no matter how clean your record is. So I just wanted to let you guys know how strict it is here.
All right, good.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And for the people calling for a Muslim ban, this guy was, born in New York. So the Trump tweet doesn't even make sense because it wasn't even somebody coming into our country.
And there weren't any real indications that he was radical Islam.
Right.
Like, I don't think he did. It wasn't like he was one of these guys. I know the FBI had interviewed him, but hey, if you want to ban Muslims, well, then you better wonder why was he legally allowed to buy a gun once the FBI investigation closed. You can't have it both ways.
Well, I mean, ISIS did a great job with recruiting, and the media has done a great job pushing the message forward. So now you could just be somebody in this country and go, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to say I did this for ISIS.
Sure. Yeah, it's an attention thing.
Because the guy certainly didn't go overseas to get any special training.
Right. And this is not discounting the Islamic part of it. Right. You know what I mean? Like the San Bernardino couple.
Oh, sure.
Fucking Major Hassan in Fort was it Fort Bragg or Fort Hood?
Fort Hood.
I mean, obviously, but those are not the only. They're the same type of people who are shooting up other things.
Yeah.
Who aren't doing it for Islam. The mental illness to me is the main problem.
And this guy in Orlando, he knew the American-born. ISIS, the guy that went over to ISIS trained and then became a suicide bomber. He knew that guy.
Oh, okay.
I got to get the details a little better than that, but there was a connection to that guy. Joe in Milwaukee, go ahead.
Well, I blame Obama because he pulled out of Iraq without a plan. It gave ISIS the power they need, so he's the fucking root of it. And everybody that's going to vote for fucking Hillary, it's not going to stop because she's going to continue his fucking policy.
So how would that? Let me ask you a question.
Hillary's a criminal, and she let people die in Benghazi. She cannot be the leader of the fucking military and the most powerful military in the world.
Yeah, first of all, they're all creepy, but yeah, she did a shit job in Benghazi, that's true. But how would the whole Muslim ban and all this stuff, the guy in L.A. who was caught by dumb luck and some great intuitive cops, how do you stop that? Now let's go to that one, which we luckily avoided a problem there. Okay, what do you do there?
What was that one now? Refresh my memory.
The guy who was arrested outside the gay pride parade, and he had fucking rifles with him and explosive, and he was going there to do damage.
Here you go. This is the perfect. I called in the Sam show, and I suggested something to Ron Bennington, and I suggested that what we need to do is create an entirely new military where we employ veterans and soldiers and even get new recruits and station these people and give them a job, station them at schools, at supermarkets, all around this country, because this is the world we are living in now. This is what needs to be done.
Right.
And I heard you guys last week or something, a couple weeks ago, talking about how you wouldn't mind having the military force at airports. I also called into Sam Robertson. I told him we need to turn the airlines into a military, and everybody that is working at the airline, right down to the person that passes out peanuts on the flight, is part of the military. That's what needs to fucking happen. Otherwise, we're never going to get ahead of this.
For people that are, all right, thank you for the call, sir. For people who are afraid of government taking over, boy, you really want to involve them. Like, I want them doing a little security work, but I don't think I want them running every aspect of my life.
Well, we certainly need, but we certainly need to up the security, in this country now because this is definitely not going to stop anytime soon. We're going to take a break, but we'll certainly go back to your calls. They are lit.
And we got to eat. And Daniel Cormier is here. He's fighting John Jones, the headline fight, UFC 200, July 9th. It's the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And, Cormier fought Jones once, and his only loss was to Jones.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to him next, and we're certainly going to get back to your phone calls.
And Brad Thor is coming in later, too.
Oh, and boy, is he going to have a lot to say. He got in a bit of a pickle there recently with, what's his name?
Trump.
No, who was the guy? Glenn Beck.
Yeah, it was what they said about Trump.
Yeah. So we'll talk to Brad, who's done our show many, many times. Please, I'm not trying to blow off any of your phone calls. We might take a little break from this topic a little bit to talk to UFC, and then we're going to go back to this. So stay right where you are. Where's Cormier?
I don't know. They're going to get him now.
All right. UFC 200. Me and Jimmy were just talking about how amazing this card is.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to that fight.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to
July
it.
9th, right?
Yes, in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada.
The whole weekend is the whole week there. I think the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday, there's fights, fan expo. Like, if you're a UFC fan, that's going to be
Do you watch every single one? This one I'll get. I don't get all of them,
Yeah.
Full disclosure. But this one I'll definitely check out.
The majority of them I do, yeah. I mean, not all, like the last one I did. And I'm going to be doing the podcast with Matt Serra starting the 21st. So I'm absolutely going to, I'm going to watch all of them.
Well, then you got to be up on all this stuff.
Yeah, but I'm not, they didn't hire me because I'm an expert. They just hired me because I guess Dana likes me.
Right.
There's a lot of people with more knowledge than I have.
Here we go. Bring in Cormier.
Yeah, bring him in.
Come on in. Are you kidding me? We're not gonna make him wait.
What's up, guys?
How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
How are you?
Which chair can I sit in?
Let me think this over. How's that one? Does that one feel
works.
good?
Yeah, it feels good.
Try it out. Make sure you're good.
Yeah, it's nice. Can I spin?
How's your morning going?
Good, man. Already.
Yeah.
Got a good run in.
Oh, you got a run in?
Oh, yeah.
What time you wake up?
6 o'clock.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Well, when you got here at 1, it's kind of bad.
Oh, you got here at 1 in the morning.
1 o'clock this morning, yeah.
Set your alarm to do some road work. How many miles?
3.5.
On the streets of New York?
No, on the treadmill.
Oh, okay.
I'm 37. The knees don't really work too well on the pavement, so got to get on the treadmill.
You sound a little allergies.
Allergies. Yeah, man. I was in California, then I went to New Orleans, and now here. The changes in the temperatures are killing me.
Are you allowed to take stuff for your allergies, or you get scared?
I take Zyrtec.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I love Zyrtec.
Yeah.
So that stuff works, man.
Or you get paranoid about you take one little thing and all of a sudden you're fucked. And
guess what? You know what you just did?
Sorry, messed up your head, right?
Actually, you just reminded me that I need to update my USADA forms, because if they show up at my house to drug test me and I don't have those forms put that I'm in New York City,
right,
then I might be in a little bit of trouble.
What's the USADA form?
Yeah.
It's the United States Anti-Doping Agency. They just randomly show up to drug test us. So I need to fill that out.
So what happens is you tell them I'm traveling, so if they want to get you or see you, they know, okay, he's in New York at this hotel.
Yeah, they'll have somebody find me in New York City.
And what do you mean you fill it out? So you're going to put that you're on Zyrtec? This is interesting.
There's a whereabouts form.
Huh? Times, if you miss 3 times, like say he doesn't update it and they go to his house today.
Yeah.
and he's not there, that's one miss.
Wow.
You get 3 in a calendar year before you technically finish.
Oh, you got to tell them where you are right now.
Yes.
So if they go to your regular home,
if they go to my house,
Gotcha.
which is where I said I was going to be before this tour came out.
they don't mess around.
No,
huh?
3 misses, and that is a. Someone said, "Can they show up here?" That's a good question.
They really could.
So what do they do? Have you had them randomly show up?
Yeah, they've showed up a number of times. I've actually missed 2. One, whenever John and I had a press conference here, but it was real last minute. They showed up at my house. They accepted my explanation, so I went back to 0 misses.
Right.
And then I missed another one, and it was because of something else, and I had a good explanation for it. So I've been in the USADA testing pool since I was wrestling because of the Olympics. So they were sending all my information to my old email address that I had in 1998. So I didn't know that they were trying to contact me. So they accepted that as an explanation again. So I'm at 0, but reality is I could have 2 missed tests already.
For the year?
And then or for the year. And if I would have, obviously if I'm here and they missed me this morning.
So I saved you.
You actually did. That's
what
awesome.
do I get for this? Do I get like?
I would say first class travel to and from the event from Dana.
US 200, huh? Maybe.
The car
Let's
looks
see.
amazing. One other thing before we move on to other stuff. I mean, are you paranoid about you take something, innocently, and you're like, what? And then it shows up in a test.
There's a lot of stuff that you can take that won't get you in trouble with USADA.
Do they give you kind of a list?
There's a list.
We know this stuff will be okay, so don't worry about it.
There's a list of banned substances, list of banned supplements, everything. Like stuff that will show up in a test and you will get in trouble for.
Right.
They let us know. A lot of times these guys, they claim ignorance. You don't have to be ignorant. You just got to go on the website before you start taking these supplements. I have a nutritionist that checks everything out before he starts giving it to me.
What's something that you think you could take like in daily life, but if you take it, it shows up even though it's not a bad
some
thing?
dumb thing where you would just assume that this wouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so if you're a person with asthma,
right?
You take albuterol, it's just a puffer,
right?
That has a little hint of steroid in it. So if you don't let them know that you have asthma, that you're taking that, it could potentially show up in a test, and then you could be in trouble for it. So there are little things like that, but as long as you give them they know that you have asthma. You take it. It doesn't. I have asthma, so I take my inhaler.
So when you see these athletes that they get caught with a banned supplement or substance, whatever, you got to be rolling your eyes, going, "Oh, that was avoidable."
I don't feel sorry for him at all.
Okay,
you got to have knowledge of what you put in your body to begin with.
Right.
Even if you're putting bad stuff in, I like to eat bad,
right?
But I know I'm eating bad food.
Right.
It's like I don't go, "Oh, I feel like crap." And go, why do I feel like crap? Well, it was probably the food that I ate earlier today before I went to bed, the rice that I ate right before I fell asleep, or the chicken or something. Whatever I ate that was bad probably has me feeling this way.
Right.
So
Chicken's not bad for you?
Well, fried chicken is. And that's kind of one of my favorite dishes. So the fried chicken is probably what makes me feel like I did. Why do I have the itis? It's probably the fried chicken or the ribs, something like that.
All right, gotcha. Yeah.
So could you actually do steroids and then just claim like, oh, my asthma was really a problem? Is there any way to do that? Or
No, absolutely not.
My breathing was terrible.
It's like it's not even really it's not even really it's hardly any, but it is something, because when you have asthma, your throat starts to close.
Yeah.
Well, that's that little bit of whatever it is. It opens it up and it allows you to breathe. So
how do you fight with that? Like, how do you I have very bad breathing. My cardio. I mean, you look at me, you think, well, you're in terrific shape.
You're looking phenomenal shape.
Thank
by
you
the
very
way.
much, Jay.
I feel intimidated sitting right next to you.
No need to. I'm a gentle soul.
Okay.
But how do you do that when you have to fight or you have to train? You got to do cardio and you fucking can't breathe.
Right before every sparring session, I take my inhaler. And then USADA knows that I usually take it before the fight at some point during the day. It's like guys that shave their legs and put on lotion and put on lotion right before the fight, but they don't do it in their everyday life.
Yeah.
So it's like you're obviously trying to cheat. But if it's part of your daily routine, every morning you get up at 7:30, you take your shower, you put on lotion. By fight time, lotion's gone. You know what I'm saying? And then why you wipe it off with a towel. But when you put it on right before you go to the arena and you're shaving your legs, you're trying to cheat, so it's like, it's part of my daily
What is
routine.
that? It's harder to get a hold on somebody?
Oh, yeah, submissions,
It gets a little
takedowns.
slippery?
Yeah, they get slippery.
And you're allowed to put lotion on right before a fight?
No, that's so illegal. They test this. They check for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they check for the slippery.
I just feel like you can keep your allergies under control. I get really bad allergies, and I got a whole thing I do.
What do you do?
It's all written down. Now you called me on it, but it's a whole bunch of things.
Well, I don't do
it's
like
a Claritin, I know, and then it's some other pill at night that there's a whole bunch of different names, and then I got Cialis, and then I got a couple nose sprays.
See, I can't do the nose spray. It bugs me too much. I can't do the nose spray. It bothers me. But the Zyrtec I do, and usually it clears me up, but I got up again. It's we are looking at 8:12 right now. I got up at 6:30 and ran for an hour and came here. So you would think that you would have a little sympathy for me, considering I just came right here.
I apologize that I thought you hit the road with your running. I was thinking like Rocky. Of course you go to a gym.
Of course, come on, man. It's not 80. It's not 1970.
I'm thinking you put on some baggy sweats and you hit the streets of New York.
How cool would that look, though?
High-fiving the locals. I'm an idiot.
My goodness.
Well, you could do that.
That's pretty inspirational. Maybe we'll try that later. That's pretty inspirational.
Yeah, until you step in a pothole and break your ankle and the fight is that he can't.
Fights off.
Right.
Fights off.
Yeah, you got to stay on the treadmill.
Sure. I know. That was just dumb. Cormier. I like Cormier. You and Jones, man. Is this some real action between you two?
Yeah, I believe that it's the realest action that the UFC's ever seen, because a lot of times you'll get these rivals and these rivalry fights, and it's kind of made up at times. Mm-hmm. Well, this isn't. John and I have had our issues every time we've come into contact, whether it be in public, private, it doesn't matter. We just can't really get on the same page. And the beautiful thing about it is we're in a sport where we don't really have to. If we were on a basketball team, coach would try to pull us into the room and try to get us together.
Yeah.
But we fight in a cage, so we don't have to be friends.
Have you guys thought about couple counseling? I mean, just sit down and work these issues out. I'm sure you both need to be heard. And
a couple times people have said stuff like, at the end of all this, you guys are going to be phenomenal friends and talk about all the money you made. Absolutely not. That's not happening.
All kidding aside, does it go back to one thing that started this, that was the seed that... Then now that you look back, you went, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it was the wrestling thing. Way back in the day, it was the wrestling thing. I didn't know John. John didn't know me. He came up to me and started talking about taking me down. And I had just got off the Olympic team, maybe 12 months before. So I'm like, who is this kid? At that point, I was a fan of John. But I was like, oh, this guy's really cocky. He's arrogant. And then it just snowballed from there. He just continued to, he was an asshole then, and it just became bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's like, I just don't like him. It's like I have no desire to be in his space unless I'm punching him in the face. Wow, that was pretty good. It's like I rapped a little bit there.
Yeah, you did.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I accidentally just rapped.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it just kind of came out very natural.
What?
Yeah, it didn't sound planned at all. It sounded very natural.
I like that.
I know. I'm from Louisiana, man. It's rapping down there.
I like that.
So you guys genuinely don't like. You watch these guys talking, and you said weird stuff in the last press conference where I think you said you'd spit on him, and I'm like, that's a guy who really doesn't like you. That's not something you say just in the spirit of something. Like, you really hate this dude.
Well, he said he was going to kill me. Yeah, he did. He said, I will literally kill you if you spit on me. I said, well, it gets to a point where it's like two little kids on the playground, because we're hurling insults, and after a while, you just don't have any more insults. So you just start saying stupid stuff like, well, you think I'm just going to sit here and let you kill me? And they always replay this clip, and I'm like, wow, did I really just say that I'm not going to sit there and just let him kill me? But it's like, you can't help yourself. It's like, we're kids. We're just two kids going at each other on the playground.
It's entertaining, though, man. It's entertaining as all hell. I mean, it's a real thing between you two guys, obviously, but as a fan, I'm like, wow, this is really entertaining.
Well, it's good because it's real. Like, you can actually feel that it's authentic. When it's made up, a lot of times fans they see right through it.
Yeah.
When people just try to have like a little bit of controversy. But you guys fought once. He won. It was a decision, right?
Yeah, he won.
And the wrestling thing, it looked like you would try to take him down a lot because you're considered a better wrestler, but he wrestled really well, and he took you down. He was like the first guy to do that, right?
Yeah, he took me down for the first time in my career. He took me down off of a kick, and he took me down 2 more times. So he took me down 3 times to 1 in that fight, which was Very surprising. But, I put too much emphasis on the wrestling in that fight. Because I let all the things that he said back in 2011 drive me into that fight. It's not a wrestling match. It's a fight. If you take me down, I don't care. Alexander Gustafsson is a guy who's never wrestled in his life. He took me down twice. So now it's like I've let go of that whole, well, you can't take me down because I'm the better wrestler. Take me down. It doesn't matter. I'll get right back up and continue to press you and fight you. And if I get a takedown, cool. It doesn't matter. It's not a wrestling match. It's a fight. So, I think I've grown mentally more than anything going into this rematch.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just going to acknowledge that it's your only loss too.
Yeah, it's the only time I've lost. Every other fight I've won. And really, Alexander Gustafsson last fight challenged me tough, but outside of that, I've pretty much just beat up on everybody I've fought. So it's this is a good fight. When Conor McGregor was going to fight Nate Diaz at UFC 200. People were upset initially, like, why? This fight is a great attraction. It's a great attraction. Conor's unbelievably popular. Nate's unbelievably popular. But what does this fight mean to the sport besides two guys just fighting? John and I, two guys, two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, both champions, fighting for the undisputed UFC light heavyweight championship. It's the most important fight the UFC can put on.
Yeah.
And the organization. I don't care what anybody else says. Stipe Miocic versus Alistair Overeem, great fight. But is it as important as John and I? No. Because of the level of competitors that John and I are together, this is the most important fight at the most important event.
And he went out, Jones kind of just had to vacate the belt because he got in that legal trouble. And then you kind of who'd you fight? Anthony Johnson, I think, for the interim belt?
I fought Rumble Johnson, and then I fought Alexander Gustafsson. So I fought twice while he was suspended from the UFC.
And I believe he calls you a paper champion?
Yeah, he does. He calls me a paper champion because I didn't beat him the first time we fought. But to that I say, you didn't lose to me, but you lost to just life. Because how hard is it to stay out of trouble? That's where you lost your belt. I win in life, and I also win in the octagon.
He's, because he talks a lot about, praising God and being kind of like, I don't know if it's Christian or semi-religious. And I don't know him well enough to know if he's a really religious guy, but it doesn't seem like you two have any liking for each other. So I'm like, maybe he's not as religious as I thought he was.
Well, I got a little secret. I got a bit of a secret for you. If you feel as though you're looking at Jones and seeing something that may not be 100% authentic, you are not in the minority. Most people feel like that because he's not always being transparent. He's not being who he really is when you look at him. So,
what do you think the difference is between who you see him as and who he presents himself as?
Well, I think now he stopped blurring the line as much. So he's a little more real than he used to be. But before, I think he was more closer to the guy that was getting into trouble, testing positive for cocaine, getting speeding tickets, and doing kind of all those other things. He was more close to that than the religious guy that he was putting on to be. But he is from a religious family. But I think John himself was more of the partier, whereas his family, they may be more religious.
Because you guys recently were talking at this, and he said at the press conference, like, I have no problem with Daniel, and you called him out on it, saying you just told me I was a piece of shit.
Yeah, because it's the truth. It's like that's the stuff that drives me insane. I'm like, well, why not? How hard is it to just be truthful? That's my only thing. Some people will like you for being truthful. Some people will dislike you, but it doesn't matter. At least you're being truthful. And I was like, wow, dude, you literally just were talking trash.
What did he say to you backstage?
Well, we were actually leaving it. He goes, you are literally the biggest pussy I've ever seen in my life. Hey, good. You're entitled to that opinion. That's fine. But don't go up there an hour later going, I don't really have a problem with him. I think he's a swell guy. No, you don't think I'm a swell guy. You think I'm a pussy, and that's okay. It's fine.
I can't imagine an MMA fighter being on a pussy list.
Well, in John's eyes,
when you list the biggest pussies in life, I don't think I would put any MMA fighters on the list.
I don't think any guy that's ever walked in the octagon is a pussy. No. That is like the toughest, it's one of the toughest jobs in the world, outside of crab fishermen. But it's one of the toughest jobs in the world, the UFC.
I don't know how you guys do it. I bow to you guys. It's pretty amazing.
It's fun.
To take that, and you say it's fun. That makes it even better.
It's fun, man. It's
horrifying for us, just average folk, to go in there and get hit in the face and foot stomped and all the other crap you got to deal with, elbows to the face, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and he throws elbows like a fist.
Oh, God.
Jones is a very long-elbowed man.
Yeah.
And he throws them like a punch, and that's to me is harder to deal with than his punches.
Well, because he can't punch. he cannot punch.
Really?
He hit me, and I'm like, wow, this is actually him punching me as hard as he can. He can't punch. So he has to throw elbows and kicks and knees because he can't punch. So, yeah, he doesn't hit very hard. So when he has to do something.
Does he really not punch hard?
He does not punch very hard. I will be honest with you, man. He kicks very hard. He knees very hard, and he elbows hard, but he can't punch.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, sticking with that, who punches the hardest? You think?
Anthony
it is
Johnson.
Rumble Johnson, right?
100%.
I think Jimmy said that too.
Anthony Johnson hits harder than any person.
No doubt. Most people would say that.
No doubt. Wow. He hit me, and every time he hit me, it made me just kind of like fly all over the place. And I'm like, wow, he's trying to take my head off. Even when he missed, you could hear it. Like even Roy Nelson too was swinging for the fences, and Dan Henderson, even when you're very close and he just kind of hits you from like very, very close, you can feel how heavy his hands are. Yeah, those guys are pretty powerful.
Dan Henderson just won. He knocked out Hector Lombard with his elbow. Dan Henderson is 68 years old. And he just knocked out...
How old is he real? 45? 46, yeah.
Madness, man. And this guy may fight for the belt. He may fight for the belt because he looks so good. Dan Henderson.
Good for Dan.
My cousin goes, Dan got Hector Lombard with a strange elbow because nobody's ever seen the elbow in the history of MMA before. Yeah. He literally just threw like a side elbow and it knocked Hector out. Look, Hector Lombard's a great guy, but at the end, he got head kicked by Dan Henderson. I don't think Dan's ever thrown a head kick in his entire career.
It wasn't the best head kick I've ever seen, no.
But Dan got him. It just raises the level of legend Dan Henderson is in my mind. I'm a huge Dan Henderson mark anyway, so.
He's just a very tough guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me go to the phone. A few calls coming in, but this one is pretty good from Irish J in Pennsylvania. We got Cormier in studio, Irish J. What do you got?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for taking my call.
No worries.
DC, it's an honor, man. Hey, I was wondering if you noticed, and I agree with you, that John Jones doesn't hit very hard. Look at his KO record with punches. But there's a disturbing trend in fighting nowadays. Floyd Mayweather does it, and Jones did in his last fight, where if you don't come to me, it's just going to be a boring fight. How do you plan on making sure that it's not a boring fight with Jones just doing what he did against OSP, which looked like a sparring session? Are you going to bring it to him? What's your game plan going in?
You know, honestly, man, at distance, I can't really beat him because he's so much longer and so much taller than me. And if you watch me fight before, I have to fight with pressure. That's what I like to do. I like to fight and I like to be in guys' face. So, yeah, I'm gonna be after Jones. You know, I'm always gonna be. I'm not gonna chase him like I did the first time. though. We've worked on some things in training camp that will allow me to close the distance without taking as much damage as I took in the first fight. So, watching the OSP fight was very encouraging for me and my team because everything we thought he was going to do, he did in that fight. So we just went right back to work on the things that we were working on. And I think we've got a good idea of what John's going to bring to the cage on July 9th.
Best of luck to you, brother. Thank you, guys. Love
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Irish J.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, this UFC 200 is a great card too. My God.
Oh my goodness. You know, Brock Lesnar got on the card. You know, and Brock's a huge draw. Mark Hunt. Brock's a huge draw.
Sure.
So right as Brock was getting announced, I was at UFC 199 with Luke Rockhold, and I started hearing these rumors. So I start texting Brock. I'm like, "Hey, Brock, are you fighting? Tell me, please." Didn't respond. So I said, "Hey, Brock, is it Christmas time in the Cormier household?" Because Brock sells pay-per-views. I am obviously one of the guys that gets pay-per-view dollars. And he goes, "Merry Christmas." That's all he wrote back was "Merry Christmas." I'm like, Brock, you're the fucking man, dude. Congratulations and welcome back, buddy. So my wallet jumped out of my damn pocket. Had to pick it up off the ground.
So your taste goes up a little bit.
Oh, man, let me tell you one thing. Brock Lesnar, welcome back. We love you.
Yeah, everyone's happy when he's on the card.
Oh, my goodness. Especially if you're a guy that actually sees some of that pay-per-view revenue.
Sure.
Is it really, you think, going to be one and done for him?
I think it depends on how he does.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's fighting a tough guy in Mark Hunt. You know, Mark Hunt can punch, and Brock doesn't like to get punched all that much. You know, at least he didn't before. But I think it'll be good to see him fight without his sickness. See if he can go in there and implement a game plan on Mark that he can go and take him down and do what he says he's going to do. It's going to be a fun fight. I'm excited about fighting right after them because that crowd's going to be in a frenzy by the time we actually walk to the octagon.
Are they the co-main event?
They're the co-main event. But not only are they the co-main event, it's the whole week. They have a total of 5 championship fights that week.
Yeah.
Because on Thursday, Rafael dos Anjos fights Eddie Alvarez.
Okay.
Then on Friday, Joanna Jędrzejczyk defends her belt against Claudia Gadelha. Then on Saturday, Miesha Tate defends her title against Amanda Nunes. After her, we have Frankie Edgar fighting Jose Aldo for the interim featherweight title, and then John and I. So, you got 5 title fights over the course of 3 days in the UFC and 3 fight cards. So by the time we step in the octagon on Saturday night, the culmination of International Fight Week, place is going to be rocking, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I think I'm going out on the Thursday afternoon. And by the way, I'm calling for a Mark Hunt first round knockout.
You think so?
I love Mark Hunt. He's my favorite person. First round knockout.
The craziest thing about Mark Hunt is that if you watch him fight Roy Nelson, if you watch him fight certain guys, when they go to take him down, he has a tricky uppercut that he times on the shot. If he can time that uppercut on Brock's going to go to sleep.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's as good a fighter as he is. Like, he doesn't look as agile as he is.
Right.
He kicks really hard, big meaty kicks.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
really unpleasant.
And punches so hard. He's 41 years old, but he is the king of the walk-off knockout, dude. He's so sure in his hands that when he lands, he literally just turns away and the referee's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's over. It's over. Mark doesn't, a lot of us, we get excited. You knock a guy down. A guy like me, I don't really knock people out. So if somebody falls, I jump on him. I'm like a Tasmanian devil trying to get a couple,
He's like Steph Curry. He throws those bombs, and
he's
before
like
it even
Curry.
hits the rim, he turns around. He knows it's in.
And the bench is clapping.
He's that type of guy.
Everybody's clapping.
Right.
Mark's corner is like getting up, grabbing the bucket. Fight's over. Mark's done.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Can I go back to your Olympic career?
Yeah.
So you, I think you came in 4th in 2004, right?
Yeah.
And then 2008, you couldn't compete because you had kidney failure?
Yeah. It was my fault. It was my fault. It was my fault.
And you must have been feeling good. Like, this is going to be my Olympics for a medal.
Well, this was probably my best year. I did really well internationally that year, and I got 3rd at the Worlds the year before. So by the time we went to the Olympics, I was ranked number 2 in the world. But it was my fault, man. I stayed too heavy. I was way too big. I didn't monitor my weight as I should have. And it cost me. Sometimes that happens. If so
you had to cut too much weight too quickly. And
another issue was I was retiring after the Olympics, so I was like, look, I'm going to make weight. It doesn't matter how I feel when I step on that scale. I can be crawling to the scale. I'll make weight. I'll rehydrate, and I'll go wrestle my last competition. You can't do that. You can't put an end date on your career like that because I'll never have to weigh in again. I hated making weight when I was wrestling. And I was like heavy. I was like, okay, so I don't care. As long as I get on the scale. And I screwed myself.
How many pounds did you have to cut?
Well, it wasn't the last day I lost like 7.5 pounds, but I don't usually lose that much. I used to lose like 4 pounds on the last day of weigh-ins, but it was just like the week before. I was like 230, 232, and I was having to weigh 211. So I lost like 20 pounds in 4 days.
I'm always curious. How do you do that?
It's just water, but just like I didn't.
So what? You just don't drink water? You go into a lot of saunas and steam rooms, and
that's what I used to do. I used to stop all the fluid intake, so I was not putting anything back into my body while still just trying to suck out water. Whereas now, on Sunday before I weigh in, I'll wake up. I'll be 224, 225 pounds, but I will have had 2 gallons of water the day before. I'll be drinking 1 gallon or 2 gallons of water all week, and then when it's time to suck off all the water, it just falls off.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's an easier way to do it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, it's much smarter.
So your kidneys failed. Like, how do they fail? Like, all of a sudden you had to go to the hospital? Or what are you feeling like? You're like, this is a problem.
I weighed in, and then we were in the back trying to rehydrate. I started vomiting, which is what you don't want to do because all the convulsions, it makes you start to cramp. So I went from vomiting to cramping. Then my legs started feeling very weird. I was like, wow, I can't walk. I was like, what is going on? And so coach was like, all right, let's try to get back to the village where we can start to rehydrate you, and everything. No more IV. This was right as USADA came into play. USADA got rid of the IV. We got on the bus. I'm trying to put on because my opponent for the next morning, the Cuban, who we had wrestled 3 times, I had won 2, lost 1. he was sitting right on the same bus. So I'm trying to put on that I'm okay. You know, I'm like walking, trying to like be okay. Well, we got into the village and my legs just wouldn't work. So they were like, we need to go to the medical tent. We went and they were like, wow, this guy's in bad shape. And yeah, they took me to the hospital, started just filling me with IV fluids. I didn't eat from 4 in the afternoon until the next day because I was so severely dehydrated. At one point, they tried to make me do dialysis because they said my kidneys were working at like 25%. My mom was like, no, because if he starts dialysis, isn't he going to have to be on dialysis for the rest of his life? We weren't very knowledgeable of it, so we were kind of afraid of it. So he said, nope, let's just keep trying to hydrate him through IVs and with water, and hopefully he gets better. And I did after like 3 days.
At what point did you know you weren't going to fight? Like what, once they put the IV in you, you're like, that's done. I can't fight now. I can't compete.
It was the next morning actually, because when I woke up, I was like, okay, let's go to the arena. I have to go wrestle. And this lady from the United States Olympic Committee called because I was like trying to take out my stuff and go compete, and got on the phone and goes, we can't let you wrestle. I mean, you've been in the hospital all night. You can't wrestle. And I don't know how in my warped mind did I think I was going to be able. I was going to lose. He would have beat me. There's no way I could have beat him in that state.
Sure.
So it wouldn't have mattered. But in my warped mind, I thought I could go out there and wrestle at the Olympic level. That makes no sense. But they told me I couldn't, and it kind of hit me. So I started crying and feeling bad for myself. But
don't cry. You're going to lose more fluid.
Yeah, you lose more fluid.
What are you doing?
But after a while, you just accept it. That's great. That's great. That's great timing. That was great timing.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So you know you're not going to wrestle in the Olympics. What do you do from there? Like, what does your mind say? Like, what's the next step? Because that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
You go home, you play a lot of NBA 2K, whatever year you're in. I mean, in the year between 2008 and 9, I was ranked number 49 in the world in NBA 2K9. I was 700 wins and like 50-something losses. I got so good at that game. But while sitting on the couch playing that game, I also weighed 263 pounds. I just got so big because I was just hanging out all the time, eating, playing video games.
You were depressed?
I was very depressed. Very, very depressed. For like 5-6 months, I did nothing. I would go to wrestling practice at Oklahoma State to help coach my kids' wrestling team, but it wasn't enough. And then at one point, I got a job. I worked at a local TV station. It was almost like public access. I was hosting a coach's wrestling show, and I also did commercial ad space. So I would sell commercial ad space, and when people would buy it, it was only like $1,000 to get a commercial done. And then I would go with the camera, and I would tell them what they would be doing on that commercial. So I had one guy, it was like for a pharmacy, and he had a message he wanted to say, but it was Stillwater, Oklahoma. So I had him like walking out at his farm. He had his horse. It was like one of those really little public access commercials, but I was proud of myself for that. It's probably my greatest work to date.
Nice.
So that kind of was the road back. Like you started to do that.
Yeah, I started to work, and then I hated it because I had never really done anything like that before. I was
how old were you? Just for reference,
29. I was about to be 30.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to be 30 years old. So I hated it. I was like, God, I hate this so much. I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm trying to do something. Because competitively, I needed something. That's why I played so many damn video games. Because I needed that rush. I was like, I would get nervous as the game would go into the fourth quarter. It was like I was really playing basketball.
Right.
But my friend Muhammad Lawal, his name is King Mo. He fights now in Bellator. He kept telling me, you got to try fighting. You got to try fighting because he had started, and when he started fighting, his first fight, he made $50,000. And he bought a necklace. And it was like all kinds of diamonds. And it said King Mo in it. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then he bought a Cadillac. And it had like alligator skin seats. I mean, it was a pimp car. And it had King Mo in the seats. It was the sickest thing I'd ever seen.
Well, at least he invested wisely.
Well, this guy's from Texas. I'm from Louisiana. We're like, wow, this is like all we ever dreamed of. Right. And this is all we ever dreamed of. And he kept telling me to fight. And I was like, you know what, man? I called up Josh Koscheck, and he put me in contact with my manager, Dwayne Zinkin, who had asked me to fight long before. Called Dwayne and told him I was ready to fight. He sent me out to the American Kickboxing Academy in July of 2009. I went on a visit. I was like, wow, these guys are intense. It was Cain Velasquez, Josh Koscheck, John Fitch, Mike Swick, Bobby Southworth, Mike Kyle. All these guys were still at Josh Thompson. They were all at the top of the game still. And I was like, this is where I want to train if I'm going to do this. And then I went back September 1st. September 23rd, I fought my first fight.
Wow.
Yeah, I fought 20 days of training and I went and fight.
Wow.
So when you were a kid, you weren't fighting, you were more wrestling. Like when you were growing up in Louisiana, you weren't...
Yeah, did you have any of those other skill sets, really?
No.
It was all wrestling, more or less.
I didn't even wrestle to begin with. I started wrestling when I was a little bit older. I was like 10 or 11 or something like that. But before I did nothing. I was just a kid running around Louisiana getting my ass kicked.
No, I mean, during all your years of training for wrestling.
It was just wrestling.
Just wrestling.
Just
you
wrestling.
weren't doing any of that other
Nothing
MMA
else.
type stuff.
They told me
MMA training.
When I went into AK, they told me, they said, okay.
That's pretty amazing.
They said, go in there with Cain and take him down over and over again. I'm like, sure, whatever. Cain kicked me in the face. I was like, okay, I didn't know he was going to be kicking me too. 2 minutes later, I was rolling under the ring, 264 pounds, and like, wow, I've got some serious work to do if I'm going to be good at this. So yeah, it was really an eye-opening experience.
You know, what's interesting about that is a lot of guys probably would have rolled out of the under the ropes and said, fuck this.
Exactly.
After taking a kick to the face from Cain.
He broke my nose.
But something in there, you're like, all right, I got a lot of work to do. That's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah.
You weren't discouraged.
Well, I was discouraged, but I was
but
like,
I mean, but you weren't going to give up.
It wasn't going to give up. You know, it was like I was like, wow, I've got some work to do. I've got a long road if I'm going to be good at this. And I was just lucky enough to have the right people around me to ensure that I had success. Crazy Bob Cook, you know.
Fast forward, you're fighting John Jones, UFC 200. That's pretty impressive, man.
It's UFC 100. I was at my friend's house in Stillwater, Oklahoma, watching Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir walk to the octagon, and I told a guy named Scott Day. He's a tech guy that moved to Stillwater, so he had the biggest house, most land. He had that tech money from Norton, California, and I said to all the people there, I go, you know what? I think I'm going to fight. And they're like, Daniel, you can't fight. In their Oklahoma accents, I was like, well, I'm going to try it. And 100 UFC pay-per-views later, I'm main eventing the thing.
And you said you got beat up a lot as a kid. A lot of the fighters had really violent childhoods, and I guess is that what happened? You were getting beat up, and you're like, "Fuck this! I got to start wrestling."
Man, it was rough. I used to have, a lot of times kids have bullies, but they have like one kid. It's like one kid that actually makes your life a living hell. And I had that same type of situation where this one kid used to just mess with me all the time, and one of the happiest days of my life was when I learned to wrestle, and he used to just come. Like, they would have random kids playing basketball, kids would get into fights or whatever. I would watch, just like everybody else. I want to enjoy the fight. We are drawn to that. You know, when somebody starts to fight, we don't go, oh, these people are fighting, we're going to not watch this.
Right.
We always go, wow, I want to watch the fight. So I would watch kids fight, and if I was watching the fight, kids saw, oh, there's a ruckus, I guess I'm going to go over there and kick Daniel's ass. Why not? You know, there's already one fight, so I'm going to go beat up on Daniel. Well, one day after I started wrestling, his name is Gilbert, who is to this day, Gilbert is still around the same height. He's only about 5'5", 5'6", but he was 6'6" when we were like 9 years old. He was the biggest kid. Anyway, Gilbert came over and he was going to kick my ass again for the kid's like 99-1 against me in my entire life, you know. He was coming to kick my ass for the 100th time. He just didn't know that I had learned to wrestle. So as soon as he went to get me, I took his ass down, put him in a half Nelson. He's like flopping around on his belly, like, what is going on here? I was like, you see, this is your life now if you try to kick my ass again. And fast forward, this is crazy though, fast forward to me at 34 years old. I'm in Louisiana, right? I'm in Louisiana, and for some reason that I still can't explain to this day, my brother decides to give Gilbert my phone number. We're in Louisiana. I'm around the corner at my cousin's house. Gilbert's at my mom's house. He calls me, and I'm like, hello? He's like, Daniel, what's up? And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Who is this? And he's like, it's Gilbert. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? How you doing? He was like, good. He was like, when you coming back to your mom's house? I'm like, I'll be there in a little bit. He was like, okay. He was like, I'm gonna come back. I was like, okay. He was like, and you better not leave. He was like, I was like, what? I was like, do you really still think that we're 9 years old? Like, what are you gonna do if I leave? Are you gonna kick my ass or something? Like, he in his mind, he still saw the same kid. I was like, are you out of your mind? I was like, have you lost your mind? I was like, do you know what I do now? I was like, you're gonna kick my ass if I leave my mom's house because you say to stay. But in his mind, so delusional, he was like, you better not leave.
But why did he want to?
I have no idea. Because I purposely left hoping the child was like, what, is he going to kick my ass? Let me see how this story plays out. Y'all put his ass right back in that half Nelson.
Did you see him? Did you actually see him?
I've seen him now a number of times. You know, he's a crazy little guy, man. He's a crazy little guy. He's a guy that stayed in Louisiana. You know, he drinks and he still fights. He's always fighting. So, yeah, I saw him. You know, I'm nice to him. I'm not going to, well, what am I going to do? You know, I'm not going to beat him up or anything. You know, I'm nice to him.
Well, he changed the course of your life. I mean,
really
who
did.
knows where you would have been
in a way, right?
Him being a dick set you on the course of a great life.
You know, I have had an unbelievable life, and part of it is owed to Gilbert Francis. I tell you, he was a bad kid too, man. I remember he was a bad kid. I remember going to like kindergarten, first grade, and I'm walking into the school, and I hear, Daniel. I'm like, what is going on here? He's like, come here. I'm like, what? I'm like, where? Where is this coming from? I look down. Kid's like on the ground trying to skip school. I'm like, where are you going to go? You're 5. You're 6 years old. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? What are we going to do? Like, the park's right here, but my mom lives like 500 feet from the park. What do you want to do? Get my ass kicked by my mom now, too? So I got to get beat up by you and her? Like, come on, dude.
Oh, God. It's
By the way, that's the happiest of all the fights you've talked about. The happiest you've been is tapping Gilbert when you were 10 years old. That's
100%. I had his ass in that half Nelson. His arm was up. I was like, that is your life now if you ever try to kick my ass again. He just left me alone. He was like, wow, this dude can kick my ass now.
How would he start the fight? Would he just hit you, or would you guys square off, or would it be a slap?
So a couple times he slapped me. He slapped me a couple times. One time he punched me. It was Easter. One time he just had the Easter egg and he punched me with the Easter egg in his hand for no reason.
Wait, he punched you with an Easter egg in his hand?
It was like in his hand. And he just
humiliating.
Oh, God. Oh, it was the most So then my friend's like, oh, man, you're in trouble now. Daniel's going to kick your ass. I was like, really? My eye's already hurting bad now. Like, imagine if I get up and try to fight him, and then he punches me in my eye again. Right. So I just got up and left. I didn't even fight him. I was like, I was so scared at the time, like, of him. I was like, man, I was a scared little boy. And then a couple times he would just, like, if there was another fight and he would see me, like, watching, like a normal spectator, like everybody else, he may just push me down or like punch me or something. He always just went for he always went for my eye, because like when he would hit me in the eye, you know how your eye starts to blink?
Yeah.
And he knew that was my defense for that was always to just take off running, man. I would get out of there when he would get me in the eye.
How bad are we, though, that Cormier is fighting John Jones, and all I want to know about is Gilbert?
I know.
That's why Gilbert's stories now.
He's the best.
I just want to hear about Gilbert. Who cares about your beef with John Jones?
He's the best. You know, but hey, he prepared me for Jones, I'll tell you that much.
He did.
I love that you said that he's still 5'5".
He's still that small to this day, man. He hasn't changed.
Anything you want to say to John Jones before we wrap this up?
You know what, man? Hate to use this example because Luke Rockhold's a great friend of mine, but every fight is different, like Michael Bisping said, and I'm going to prove it on July 9th that this is a different fight. John Jones is getting his ass kicked. I'm going to be the man to do it.
You're just going to see Gilbert's face.
He kind of looks like him. He's just a tall version of Gilbert Francis. Hey, Gilbert, I just talk about you on national television, but there you go. You made it.
Is he in your head at all, Jones, too? Because you get someone in your head, man. No.
It's so crazy that I actually hear that. You know, before he might have been, but now it's like, I'm at peace, man. My training's gone so good. My life is so good. I've got 2 healthy young kids. My fiance is beautiful and great. Don't worry about John Jones. I'm ready to fight. I'm going to do my job. I'm not like last time I wanted to fight him. Now I'm going to go to compete. That's where I strive. I've been competing at the highest level since I was 15 years old. That's what I'm good at.
Nice. What did your fiance say to you? Because you had never lost, and then you lose the fight. What does she say to you when you get home? Like, what's it like going home the first time you lose? Like,
well, in the back, you know, I was crying because I was tore up, man.
Is that why he was just saying you got emotional? He just was just taunting you with that at a press conference. Is that what that was from?
Yes, I was crying. I cried at the press conference and after the fight because This means so much to me.
A lot of emotion.
We put our lives on the line for this. So when it doesn't go well, when you've invested the time and the energy, sometimes, the emotion comes out. I wasn't hurt or anything. I felt like I disappointed my team, disappointed my family, let people down, and that sucks to know that so many people rely on you and you didn't get it done in that moment, and it was bad because I know I didn't fight my best fight, which is probably the hardest. What didn't help is that my manager and probably my best friend in this whole sport, Bob Cook, he said to me right after the fight, he goes, normally I get a better fighter in the octagon than I do in the gym. And he goes, I didn't get that tonight. And I was like, wow, that, cause he's always real with me. And, that added to it too, because I knew I didn't fight my best fight. But she said to me when I walked to the back, she said, Daniel, Selena goes, Daniel, when you go to this press conference, cause I was really in the corner, like crying a lot. And she goes, when you go there, you hold your head up high, because you're a great person, great father, great partner, and this fight does not define who you are as a person or will not define your career. So you go up there and you hold your head up high. So as I'm talking in there, I'm thinking of that, and I'm trying to do that. But then in reality is I can see in her face, how sad she is that I was going through that and thinking about my mom and my dad who had to sit and watch me not give 110%. It was tough. It was tough for me to do it.
Wow.
Because those are the people that matter.
Yeah.
These are the people that I truly love, and that's why I do this. So felt bad to let them down, disappoint them.
Right. 17-1 though so far. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you're an awesome
really
fighter.
Impressive.
Thank you.
And a nice guy too.
I love Daniel Cormier, man.
You're a lovely man. So I hope you do
I've
very
never
well.
met you. I've seen the press conference stuff, and I'm all in. I like Daniel Cormier, and UFC 200 is going to be amazing.
July 9th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. If it's not sold out, it obviously will be. And get it on pay-per-view. It's going to be a great fight. And these guys genuinely don't like each other, which you always want to see more than like Uriah Faber and Dominic Cruz. They don't like each other.
Which you go watch them fight all the time.
Yeah, because you want to see people that don't like each other punching each other.
Yeah.
I love all that. I love all the trash talking and all that crap. Sportsmanship is okay to a point.
Yeah.
But when it's forced on everyone, I don't like that.
No, let's not
when
make
it's real,
these guys
that's
be
all
friends.
right.
Let's not make these guys be friends.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, man. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, cool. We're going to take a quick break. Stay there. Brad Thor in studio. Promoting Foreign Agent, a thrill. I got another book to read from you?
You got another book? Yes, you do.
When did
you and Jimmy?
When did the book come out?
It actually comes out tomorrow.
Dude, I'm an Audible guy now, too, so I can get through the Brad Thor books a lot faster instead of reading the same page 3 times in a row because I'm distracted.
What do you do that to go back over and just get what you lost, or do you just forget that you read it?
Every once in a while, I'll be reading a book, and it could be a good book, too. Don't get me wrong. I believe I might have even did it with one of your books. I've read a few of them now, and all of a sudden, you're just distracted by other things. You read the whole page, and you're like, I don't even know what I just read. And then you got to, start over.
A lot of people love listening to the audiobooks. Most people, there's 55 million people that listen to them, and not mine, just audiobooks in general in the United States. A lot of people listen to them in the car. It's also a great thing. I hear about people, and we've started doing it. Instead of putting a DVD in for the kids on some of these long rides, we're picking a book that the whole family can listen to, and then we've got, we can talk to the kids about the book. Sometimes we throw the headphones on them because just me and the wife want to talk. But
gosh, if I have to listen to Teen Titans Go coming from the back seat one more time, I'm going to fucking drive off the road. But they're finally at the age where they're keeping the headphones on.
Yeah.
Because, you put the headphones on these younger kids, and it's a foreign object to them. They freak out, but they're finally getting it. So now we get peace and quiet. You don't have to listen to Teen Titans Go. That's their go-to. Well, E-Rock loves Teen Titans Go. It is. You still like it, right, at your age?
Sure, why not?
Freak. He said, sure, why not? You freak.
E-Rock's a good boy.
But I can't wait. For real. Brad Thor, you came on the show once, and you're from a hole in the wall, and then I was like, I'm going to check out the book that you're promoting, and I liked it. And then I went back and read a couple other ones.
I appreciate it.
I'm excited. I'll definitely bring this one to the beach. It's called Foreign Agent.
Yep. Comes out tomorrow. So this is wild because here we are, in the wake of what happened over the weekend. And is this guy an ISIS affiliate? Actually, all you got to do is declare yourself for ISIS, and that counts. I mean, the way it's explained to me is a lot of these whack jobs contact him over in Syria and say, I want to come over and be part of the caliphate and I want to fight. And these people in Iraq and Syria sometimes tell him, you know what, don't make the trip over here. Find a target, soft target near you, think globally, act locally. So I have an ISIS storyline. I mean, I write thrillers. So if people like Clancy or Ludlum, that's what I do. Book in the hand, toes in the sand. It's a great summer read, but I put a lot of real stuff in there. And
book in the hand. Toes in the
sand.
It's a little.
Fuck yeah.
I couldn't let that go by. I couldn't let that go. That needs to be on a T-shirt.
Yeah, so I'm going to put on a bumper sticker, too. I'm going to be selling them.
A hat like Trump. I think you could sell a few of those.
Yeah, there you go. With the,
anyway,
that fun. But I did a lot of research on ISIS, and it's amazing in the year I took to write this book, what's happened. I mean, you look at San Bernardino, you look at the Paris attacks, you look at Brussels, and now you've got this thing down in Orlando. I mean, it is amazing. And we've got a lot of people that say, let's go kill them, let's kill them all, which is a great strategy, but they make more of them. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. We got to go after the ideology that gets these guys all spun up and sent out on the streets to kill Americans. And I've been saying this for years, that I'm afraid we're going to end up like Israel in this country. Where
of course we are.
Doesn't matter where your family is. Your wife can go to the grocery store and suddenly there's one of these assholes there that whips out, it's a suicide vest or whatever and starts killing people.
The problem with this though is with ISIS, this guy I think was absolutely radical Islam is a problem and it stinks. But there's also the thing of mental illness where say that ISIS didn't exist. I still believe this guy would have done that because of the he was a violent guy at home. He was unhappy. He was homophobic. He wasn't like some radicalized guy that was running around recruiting a bunch of people. He was just another lone psychopath.
Yeah.
like
Again,
the guy here with the hatchet that went after the cops, right? And then, I mean, that guy was a nutcase and he was doing it for ISIS and stuff. So you're right. It is kind of a thing if these people are predisposed to that. The guy does have Afghan, back, I guess his parents are from Afghanistan and stuff. So it's
a lot of mental illness in this one, though, for sure.
Yeah. As opposed to the guys that get radicalized and commit to it and go, which they look, you could say they're mentally ill too, but it's a different thing when they get like the guys, the hijackers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct. Well, this guy, it is amazing. You look at the age too, and my wife's a doctor, so she talks a lot about when people hit psychotic breaks and certain ages and everything. You can almost, I hear her words before she even says them because she's like, all right, I'm going to tell you how old this guy is, and that's prime for a break and stuff. So a lot of stuff like coworkers, what they're saying about this guy, that he was kind of a nutcase, and one coworker quit. He's like, I couldn't handle this guy anymore. All the text messages he was sending me from work, and he was just crazy.
What kind of text messages did he say?
I don't know. He said he was getting like 20 or 50 texts a day from this guy, and the guy was a homophobe and talking about killing people and gay people and all this stuff. And it was at the security company, and this guy said he complained to his boss, but his boss, according to this guy, wouldn't fire the guy because he was Muslim. Mm. So you got the whole political correctness thing now, which we saw in Fort Hood with potentially, I should say, that's somebody that allegedly worked with this guy. But at Fort Hood, he had the same thing too, where nobody wanted to ding Nidal Hassan because he was Muslim. They just wanted to get rid of him. So they just kept passing him up the chain, just promoting him just to get him out of their particular area of responsibility.
And do you think with stuff like this, like, 'cause I know you're a big gun guy, and I believe in the Second Amendment to it, but I'm not as in as you are with it. It's like every group, whenever something like this happens, like a lot of the times, like the NRA and those guys will focus on the Islamic angle, which is certainly a problem,
right?
And they'll focus on it and they'll talk about it, but they won't say maybe the guns are an issue. And then just like the Obama administration will say, yeah, it's the guns, and they will not acknowledge the fact that Islamic terrorism is the issue. So what is it about this that everybody can't just admit they're all a little bit fucking wrong, and maybe that everybody needs to kind of go, all right, it's a combination of all of this stuff and not just one solution?
Well, you're very fair and you're very nice the way you kind of introed me in the Second Amendment. I don't know what you would do differently for this guy, because he'd passed the background checks and all that kind of stuff. So from an existing law in the book thing, I don't know what you would do differently. The one thing, as far as preventing him from getting guns, we've got over 300 million guns in this country. I don't think even if you outlawed them tomorrow, tried to go full Australia and ban them, you're not going to get rid of them. You're not going to get rid of them all. And I don't want that to happen as a gun owner. I always tell my kids and my friends, I say, this is my emergency rescue tool. This thing thing comes out only in an emergency. I have a fire extinguisher, I have auto insurance, I wear a seatbelt, and I carry a firearm in case of emergencies. Now, based on, I was looking online last night reading the statutes for concealed carry in Florida. By the way, concealed carry came in 1987 to Florida, and the liberal press said it was going to be like the OK Corral. It was going to be blood in the streets. People were going to shoot each other over parking spaces, and it didn't happen. Less than 0.1% of the concealed carry permits, and I know we're talking. I'm focusing on concealed carry, Jimmy, and we can talk bigger about guns. But what's interesting is the majority of the concealed carry permits that have been revoked in Florida have been people get busted for DUI and have a weapon in the car. So, but if you were at that nightclub and you were the designated driver for your buddies that night, Saturday night, you couldn't bring a handgun in with you because they serve alcohol there. So there's a ruling, and I'm kind of against that. If I'm going to be a designated driver, or I'm a responsible firearms owner, I can be around alcohol and not drink. That's part of the deal. I can't drink at home and then go out with my gun. I'll lose my permit. So my thing is I think I really believe John Lott, who did all those great studies, and I sit on the board for a foundation that John's doing to gather criminal data. He wrote the book More Guns, Less Crime. I think that one person could have. This is one guy with a gun, two guns that walked into a club. He could have stopped it.
Well, like you said, there's 300 million guns, and we're having more and more problems. So even though that sounds right, it is something about that just isn't working.
I don't know that we're having more and more problems. I saw studies that said if you look at over time, we're actually seeing less of these things. I mean, they're terrible when they happen, and this is the worst one that we've had. Absolute worst one. So it's very dramatic. What would you do, Jimmy? What would you do differently? I guess that's the fair question to ask.
You know, the ones that the weapons that can kill that many people that quickly, I would not make available at all. And I know people want them.
So you're talking about the magazine capacity. How many rounds before you have to switch out the magazine?
Right, and not that it's okay if you kill 5 people. But the idea that you can kill 50 in a clip, it's just, I'm not comfortable with that.
Try to knock the numbers down a little bit.
Absolutely knock them down. And because we're the only country that seems to have this issue.
I'll bet you I could shoot faster with a Glock with 10-round magazines. I could go through 30 rounds faster than somebody like this that doesn't have any training can do 30 rounds out of one magazine in an AR.
Then how about
be very fast with the changes?
How about a 6-shooter, which again I know that's
the revolver, yeah,
a revolver, yeah. Like why are those not just the guns that people have where you can kill somebody very effectively, even a nice big heavy fucking bullet, and I'm like all for you carrying it. I don't care if everybody carries.
Yeah, listen, this is I am in your house. I am your guest. I'm asking. I don't want to get combative with you guys.
No, I'm curious as to what you think. I'm asking.
No, it is a multifaceted argument. There's a lot of things to it because it's not just. So here's the deal. There are guys, you can look at police shootings, and there are guys that take a lot of rounds before they go down, whether these guys are jacked up on some sort of drug, whatever. Also, there are a lot of people that miss with the first shot, the second shot. I may only get a guy in the leg because the adrenaline's pumping through my system. Right. So why do if I'm in a personal defense situation, I want to have ready access to as many rounds as possible, because if some guy bursts through here right now and he's 6'5" and he's high and God knows what, and he comes in and I've only got like my little 38 that takes 5 rounds, sure, and I put 5 into him, or I put 5 in his direction and 2 go wide and I get him in the legs and that doesn't work. Now I've got to spin out, I got to eject those spent shell casings, and I got to fumble in my pocket. Maybe I got a speed loader and I can load 5 back in there, but I'd rather have my Glock on me.
That's
and
a fair
have
point.
17 rounds, and I'm only going to. So I went through the law enforcement academy back in Illinois to be a police officer with a very small department, and there is no such thing as shoot to kill. We were taught you shoot to stop. Why'd you shoot the guy 9 times? Because he was still coming at me after 8 times. So that's the issue with having ready access to a lot of rounds.
No, we'd rather hear, your opinion on this.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, don't hold back.
But okay.
No,
the thing with the so as a country, we have to make a decision then. Like, are we more comfortable, like you just said, that situation that you're talking about, which does happen what is a benefit to us as Americans more? To be protected in that situation in the case a guy on drugs is coming and you need more than 6? Or are we paying a bigger price by having these available and people just being massacred like this? Like, you got to weigh the pros and cons of both.
I think it's too late. I think if we were going to do anything, we should have done it many, many years ago. And there's just so many fucking guns now. I just don't know what the solution is.
Well, and I think you've got, I know you've got more responsible people than irresponsible. I mean, they're going to find knives. The worst school massacre ever happened in the 1920s, and it was done with explosives. The Bath School Massacre. So they find something else to use. These crazy, but Islam, these terrorists are not going to stop. And like we were saying off air, I've really got this fear that America is going to be like Israel.
No, you said it on air.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And the thing that's got to be brought up too, because of this, Orlando mass shooting, gun sales are going to go through the roof now for the next few weeks.
People do it for protection, and they also do it because they are afraid they're afraid that the government is going to clamp down and remove that opportunity. I mean, I got a great guys. There is a gun store owner in Chicago, outside Chicago. Brilliant friend of mine, super guy. His uncle was like a Shecky Green kind of guy. He was a comedian in the Poconos and all. And this guy's got the comedy gene. He's really funny. But he's got a poster in his office of Barack Obama, and it says NRA Gun Salesman of the Year, 2008, 2009, 2010, and it just keeps going because when people are afraid the government's going to take something away from them, it actually spurs the marketplace. It has the opposite effect of what the government wants.
So what do you think can be done as far as what compromise can people with the Second Amendment or with the gun lobby, what can they cut back on? Like, what are the liberals right about?
Well,
with guns.
I don't know that there is any compromise that's going to stop crazy people or terrorists. So I'm happy to have a discussion of what potentially would prevent a terrorist from getting weapons, and you're never going to prevent one in the United States.
I'm saying only because the terrorist thing is one thing. Mental illness is a huge part of this problem.
Yep.
But I'm saying only with the part, it's just doing it one thing at a time. Because like with terrorists, you can always screen people coming in. I think all the refugees should be screened. Anybody that comes in should be screened.
What about the homegrown, like the guy in San Bernardino?
That's a much tougher one.
That's very hard.
Because when you start to get into monitoring, people are like, well, you can't monitor a mosque, and then personal privacy issues.
And by the way, I believe that guy was wearing body armor. That's another argument for having multiple rounds. If I was at that Christmas party and this guy's got body armor and I'm putting my shots center mass and they're not working, and I find it takes me several shots to realize, hey, it's just pinging off of him, then I got to move up to his head or go lower. So that's another argument there.
Okay, but what about? And that's a great point you made. So what is it about? I'm saying, what are the liberals right about with guns? I'm not saying with any of the other stuff, but with that, what points do they have that are valid?
Jimmy, I got to be honest with you. As somebody who's such a proponent of the Second Amendment, I don't see any argument that they've put forth that bears out once you dig into it. And by the way, most of the liberals that I've ever argued with have never even fired a gun. A lot of this is hoplophobia, an irrational fear of weapons. And I tell friends who are gun owners, I say the best thing you can do for your Second Amendment rights is to take somebody out who's never been shooting and responsibly introduce them to how to safely handle a firearm, get an NRA certified instructor at a range, and let them shoot. I think it's a great thing. I think listen, if you're afraid of weapons, that's a healthy fear. That means your mind's working right. You realize how powerful a handgun, a rifle is, the damage it can be done. But again, we're never going to get rid of all the guns in this country. So I want people to be responsibly trained in using them so that when you do have an issue like this and you're there, it's why I carry a firearm. It's why I don't drink in public, is because I want to protect people if it goes down, protect my family, protect people in my community. So I don't, there isn't an argument on the other side. We have waiting limits and we have background checks. Is there a way to weed out or to screen out people who have mental illness? Well, if there's certain mental illness, I was saying if a vet comes back with PTSD, I don't want that guy's gun or that woman's guns being taken away. I think that's a completely different issue. But if you've got somebody who's full on schizo crazy and is on all the meds and stuff like that, that would be a legitimate point.
So the reason I asked that is because now if I ask somebody who is very, very liberal and was totally against guns, what point do you think Second Amendment proponents have? They wouldn't be able to come up with one valid argument that took away from their own point. So it's like that's where we are. Is one side says one thing and the other side says the other thing, and zero bend on both sides. So you're right. We're going to be like Israel, but that's why. And it's not the fault of gun owners, because they do have really smart points. And it's not the fault of just liberals who say the guns are terrible, but it's the lack of compromise, which is American. That's who we are, by the way, as a country. We're very, very.
We're used to compromise in this country. It's been a real long time, but
I mean, maybe we did, but I mean, I can't think of a time
remember
when
in recent memory.
But we're a very stubborn, split down the middle nation.
I'm a conservatarian, so I don't want the government getting into any of my crap at all. I mean, so there is the other part about all this, which is, when you have a government that's afraid of the people, you have democracy. And when your people are afraid of the government, you have tyranny. And I know guns scare the crap out of liberal politicians. And I think that's great. I think if they're afraid of the people, and they should be. I mean, in so many countries, they've tried to stop people from having guns so that the government can then exercise greater power over the people. I mean, that's...
How about in England or Canada or France? And I'm asking these because these are other countries who we consider peers in their Western civilization. And
Similar.
They're considered, very similar to us. And don't you think we're kind of embarrassing ourselves with happening? Like it's driving. And again, I'm really not an anti-gun tyrant. I do believe in the Second Amendment, and I don't have an answer for your point, which was a great point.
I think he made Brad made some
makes
pretty
sense.
good points
That's
there.
a real answer, and that makes sense. But it just seems like we're really, we tell the rest of the world how to live, and we force our ideology down everyone's throat, and we talk about our democracy and our way of life, and we are embarrassing ourselves in front of the rest of the world with this stuff.
And our numbers are so out of control compared to the rest of the world.
What do you mean? What number? I don't think we're embarrassing ourselves to the rest of the world. I think this country is. I don't necessarily think the rest of the world has it better than us. I think we've got it better than the rest of the world.
I mean, with this shootings.
Well, you know what? Why don't you go ask all those women that were raped and sexually assaulted on New Year's Eve in Germany if they would have liked to have had somebody close by with a gun?
Sure.
Okay. How about that boy? I think it's happened a couple of times. The boys that have been raped in the swimming pools over there and stuff like that. Ask their moms if they would have liked to have had a gun to peel those animals off their kids. I'm a responsible firearms owner, and I believe, again, it's a tool that helps protect my property, it helps protect my liberty, protect my life, protect my family. So there's not much you can point to in Europe that I'm going to go, wow, that's good, and they're doing it better than we are. But I get your point. I get your point.
You know what I would like to see? You always hear, what's better than a bad guy with a gun? It's a good guy with a gun.
Right.
And with one of these lousy mass shootings that we've had in recent years, I would have loved to seen the good guy with a gun in that scenario. And we still haven't seen that.
There's something, and I don't know if it was ever proved out, that there was a shooting in a mall there, and there was a guy with a concealed carry who alleges that, he brought his weapon to bear on this guy and didn't shoot, because he was a responsible gun owner and was afraid if I miss, there's people behind him and I'm going to kill somebody. But allegedly, that guy then went and offed himself because he met resistance. That's oftentimes what you see happen. Like you look at Columbine, stuff like that. When the police arrive, that's it. That ends it. These guys pick these soft targets, these zones where they can go, and they know nobody's going to fight back, because nobody's going to be armed in there,
Sure.
right? Because responsible gun owners respect the signs that say no guns, or respect the law that says you can't bring a gun into a establishment in Florida that serves alcohol. So they know that the bad guys know that they can go in there and they can shoot it up. And that's the problem. Responsible gun owners are law abiding. So, when you add more laws on top of gun owners, they're going to reluctantly obey them, but the bad guys never obey them, so they don't apply.
And how close-minded is that? When I see those gun-free zone signs, I'm like, how is that good for anybody? Because if you're a bad guy, you're not gonna you're not gonna
obey the sign.
Yeah, of course you're not gonna.
Gun buster sign.
Of course you're. I'm that aware. I'm like, that seems pretty crazy.
Well, look
now all the good guys with guns are not going to go into that establishment, and then a bad guy knows this is a soft target.
There was a political cartoon I saw years ago. Two old men sitting outside a Walmart, and one says to the other, "Why do you think all these shootings happen at schools and churches?" And the other old guy says, "For the same reason they don't happen at gun shows or gun ranges." There's resistance there. But then look at Chris Kyle. I mean, Chris Kyle takes the guy out to go shooting, takes a vet, the guy's got problems, trying to help him. And then it happens at a shooting.
That's a more rare case, and Chris was also armed. That's more of a rare, that doesn't seem to happen.
But that would be the last place you would think that kind of a thing would happen. Of course, there was no way to predict the obviously deranged mental state of the guy that killed Chris. But
we interviewed Trump one time on the phone, and I asked him, "Can you name one thing about Obama that you like, or one thing?" And whenever there's such single-mindedness or where he couldn't think of one thing that he thought the president did right. It's like, really? 100% wrong? I'm a Trump supporter. So I'm right. He makes it hard with the shit he tweets sometimes. It's like, Jesus, dude.
We're looking at the screen right now, and Governor Rick Perry was just on. They're interviewing him on TV right now. And Governor Perry's a friend of mine, and I'll tell you what impressed me about Governor Perry, to your thing about President Obama. So, my family and I went to visit Governor Perry down in Austin, and before dinner, he said grace, he prayed for President Obama. I was so blown away that he did that. I mean, here's somebody who's a Republican, President Obama's a Democrat, but he prayed that President Obama would have the strength and the wisdom to do the right things. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty big thing to do, to be that opposed ideologically to somebody, but to say, still the president, got to support him, want him to make the right decisions for the country. I mean,
and even though I'm listening to you, and it's funny, you were pointing at the screen with the picture, and you were saying how they won't say Islamic terrorists. Obama won't do it.
He won't do it.
And yet, Fox News, who I happen to like, and they're conservative, they are making it worse. They're doing more damage by showing this guy's face every 5 seconds than by Obama, who shittily not saying Islamic terrorism. It's like by using this guy's face, they're scolding Obama, and they know that this encourages more people to do it. And they don't, at least Obama, in this case, has what he thinks is a higher motive for doing it. Like he doesn't want to encourage it, or he doesn't want to get, whatever his reason is. Or he's just afraid of offending Muslims and some politically correct dog shit mentality. But more mentally ill people will shoot because of this.
Right. And so Megyn Kelly, who I'm friendly with, Megyn will not say the guy's name. They'll do it like once as a news thing, and then they have a position where they don't do it. Because they don't want to give these guys 15 minutes of fame. They want to give them or Megyn does. And that's a policy I think is good.
Yeah, good for her.
Obviously, the media, they're competing against each other, but can't they at least agree on that one? Like, look, let's try to keep his fucking face off our news programs.
I would have
his name.
Yeah, because you're right. It does. It's a coup for ISIS if there is that direct thing there, and then you've also got the knock-on effect. You're right. This guy he's gone, but he's famous, and does that encourage the next?
Well, they've proven it does. Psychologists have said it absolutely does.
And our point is, they do it with sporting events. It comes up all the time, but when someone runs out on the field, they're like, we are not going to show you what's going on because we don't want to encourage that type of behavior. So isn't that the same logic with this?
The networks know that there is some influence with
it's the needy people that, they love that type of attention.
Well, there's often alcohol involved in the sporting event things. It's not
Brad,
a mental.
You got me with a little logic there.
Yeah, there's some alcohol.
There's
no,
but the point though is, if you're a guy that likes attention, you have a few beers and you're like, all I have to do is run out on the field and I know they're going to cover me being an idiot.
Right. And that's a great policy that they don't, because they don't want to.
Somewhere along the line, they went, wait a minute, let's not show this. And all sporting events and leagues and different networks, they all sort of got on the same page and said, as an entity, we're not going to show these knuckleheads anymore when they run on the field.
Well, so you look at what Fox is doing. Again, my belief here is, so I tweeted last night, and I put it up on Facebook as well. There's an article, and I don't point to the Huffington Post a lot for articles, but Sam Harris, who's been on Bill Maher a bunch, wrote a brilliant article a bunch of years ago called Losing Our Spines to Save Our Necks. And it's all about how we pussyfoot around Islam and don't talk about it, and we actually make it harder for moderate Muslims to reform the Islamic faith and take away this ability for Islamic terrorists to justify it using the Quran. And it was a great article. He said it needs more attention, not less. And the more we don't say it, and the more we do try to cover up and hide it and say, well, not all Muslims, you make it really hard for the ones that are trying to change it inside. They need the support of people outside applying pressure. And I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes we've done in this country is in the wake of 9/11, all we did was we put together TSA. We all stand in longer security lines, and now these guys are killing people in San Bernardino and in Orlando. We can't kill Muslim bad guys, terrorists. We can't kill them fast enough. We need to be going after the ideology that actually helps to create these guys.
How come the thinking then isn't more Islam, less crime? Like if gun crime is a problem, people are like, well, more guns will stop it, but no one thinks that way with Islam. And they're right not to think that with Islam.
Yeah, it really, Jimmy, it becomes a very difficult conversation to have because Islam is if you say Judaism, Christianity, and Islam as far as world religions, Islam's the only one that hasn't had a reformation. Christianity has, Judaism has, and this is a problem. The Quran is a perfect copy of a perfect book in paradise, and there is no questioning what's in the Quran. That's, I don't want to go too far into the weeds, but Al-Qaeda always put out two messages, one kind of for the West to see, and then one for the Islamic world to see, where they used all the justifications from inside the Quran. So until we start going after the ideology and decoupling the violence, and we can't do it with three white guys sitting in a room, we can't do it. Only Islam can reform Islam.
What was slightly encouraging, there was a bunch of Islamic leaders that have spoken up on this one.
That's
more.
great.
I feel like
we need more of it.
I feel like more than we've seen in the past. It seems like I saw at least two or three, maybe more, just speaking up, going, "This is not our religion."
His picture, by the way, his picture's on Fox again.
But
it's going to be on all day. It'll be on multiple times this week.
And thank Megyn Kelly. Good for her to not harp on it. But the network itself. And again, the Post.
And it's not just Fox. Everybody. If we change the channel right now, everybody's got
MSNBC, CNN, all the same.
You're right.
We just happen to be looking at Fox.
Yeah, it just happens to be Fox. We definitely point out the other ones.
Yeah, we're not vilifying them.
Trust me, we point out all of them. But that was a little encouraging. I felt like more leaders were speaking up than usual, because it seems like it's usually very quiet when this type of thing hits.
Well, we could probably have a discussion as to whether or not that's because of the pressure coming from Trump and what Trump had said for the campaign. Maybe it is that pressure that makes him feel like, oh crap, we got to get out in front of this. I mean, but you remember the San Bernardino thing. CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, which I am no fan of that organization. I don't think they do Muslim people in the United States any service at all. But man, did they jump in front of the cameras quick after San Bernardino. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Well, we need more of that.
I'd like to not see it from CARE, but to see it from faith
just in
leaders.
general. Yeah, exactly.
Because we always say, where are the Muslims protesting against the violence? Well, here we go. We
all know Muslims, and they just want to live their life. They don't want to be lumped into this
families,
shit because it makes their lives a living.
That's the majority of the world's Muslims. They just want to get along with their neighbors, feed their families.
Right.
Yep.
This guy to me is much closer to Dylan Roof.
It's sounding like
he's much closer to Dylan Roof,
more mental illness
than he is to, again, the hijackers or other people that really are Islamic terrorists.
Right, absolutely.
This guy is a mentally ill, fucking nothing who is legally allowed to get weapons like that. Like, there is no way around it. And it's very frustrating that people are now harping on the Islamic thing, because it's a part of the problem. And again, radical Islam stinks.
It was convenient that he could attach himself to ISIS because...
Yeah, I mean, he called 911. For the listeners who don't know that, this guy called 911 when he's in the club. He said it. The shooter.
Even though
I was yelling Allahu Akbar as he was doing it.
Even though it doesn't seem like he had any real connection to ISIS before he called 911 and said that I'm doing it for ISIS. So I think this one's more mental illness more than anything. And if he wasn't a Muslim, he probably would have done this.
Yeah, absolutely.
For some other dumb reason in his head.
You got into, and are you supporting Trump, or do you not like him? Because I think your comments were taken very out of context, which again, the press loves to do.
Got some heat. And Brad Thor got some heat.
Yeah, but Glenn Beck got in trouble, and I don't think he should have gotten in trouble. I mean, it was obvious the way you were setting it up. You could not have set it up more like, look, I am simply a writer, and this was a thought.
And that's what I do. My job is to come up. I write political thrillers. I write about terrorism and politics and all this kind of stuff. And my job is literally to come up with the worst case scenarios I can think of. In fact, I was recruited to do that for the government in something, along with Michael Bay and some other creative people, to come to Washington for something called the Analytic Red Cell Program at DHS to help them think several steps ahead of the terrorists. So this is something I do all the time. So, and I'm a big believer in liberty. liberty. I'm a guy that just wants the government to do the least amount possible. Leave me alone. If I got somebody in my community that needs help, I'll help them. I'm a big believer in Dennis Miller's maxim, which is I want to help the helpless, not the clueless, which I think is a good term. But yeah, so had an issue where I said, based it on a magazine article, there was something Foreign Affairs had done an article saying, these people comparing Trump to Hitler and Mussolini, that's unfair. It's incorrect. Trump does share some personality traits similar to Latin American strongmen called caudillos. And that was our jumping off point. And we discussed what would happen if Trump got into office and said, hey, I can't help America win with the restraints that are put on me by the Constitution, and I want to suspend the Constitution. And that led us into a conversation about dictatorship. And if that happened, and Congress doesn't impeach somebody, I use the term, what patriot steps up and helps to remove him from office? And people took it like, oh, he wants to assassinate him, which was not what we were talking about. Not true at all. If you've got a guy who's not going to leave office, impeachment's the only way to get him out. And Congress doesn't impeach, what do you do as a nation?
You weren't talking about him being a patriot meant he was hurting Trump. You were talking about a patriot meant you were somehow defending the country against somebody who had overridden the Constitution.
And it's got to be so. I'm thinking patriot. I'm thinking somebody like a Rick Perry or like a General Mattis or somebody that's going to actually be able to rally people behind him to say, no, this can't stand. This has got to go. But what ends up happening is one little blog does a story. Right. They take it out of context, and then Drudge throws a headline up, and so everybody's frothing at the mouth. Nobody's listened to the interview.
We've never seen this happen before.
No, it never happens. Never happens. But I think
this is new territory for us.
It became a political Rorschach test.
Yeah.
So you saw in it what you wanted to see. Sure. But I'm here to tell you guys, I am not, and I was not advocating for anything to happen to Donald Trump. And we were talking about a what-if scenario. What if you had a dictator in the White House? But people couldn't get their heads wrapped around it. A lot of people got it.
I did something stupid. I did my own research. I heard about this whole thing. I'm like, wow, Brad Thor, Glenn Beck, oh my God. And I listened to the audio. I'm like, really?
Yeah, that was it?
Yeah. I think we played it on the show even, or a part of it. I'm like, that's what people should do. They should make they should research their own stuff. Yeah. And we defended Glenn Beck, and it's the company that suspended him or whatever they did.
Yeah, he was going on vacation anyway, right, and this happened the week before. It happened on a Wednesday, the week before the holiday weekend. And listen, it's a free marketplace. Sirius is able and allowed. And Glenn even had a discussion with your VP at Sirius and said, did you listen the next day when I came back and we explained, doesn't matter if it's Trump, Bozo the Clown, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, this was a hypothetical. I mean, I even used the words hypothetical, said I'm putting my thriller writer hat on. Yeah. But even that wasn't enough of for some people of a, you couldn't have that thought experiment.
Where we said, I thought it was ridiculous they suspended him. But then again, you don't know what fucking pressure they go through. Not saying it's justified, but...
Sure, but you get phone calls and people tweet and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I saw it all over Facebook and Twitter. I heard from people, and it was like, okay,
Well, sometimes, even though when there's pressure on, at times you need guys, even though they're bosses and they do have an interest in stockholders, at times they have to go, look, that's not what he meant. And, he was just expressing... There's times where the company kind of has to stand up and go, look, that's not what he was saying.
Yeah. I agree.
But now you're obviously not a big... I don't understand when people hate Hillary. Like, I'm still for Trump.
Right.
But again, he makes it hard with shit like thanks for the congratulations. Like, well, there's 50 dead people. This fucking dope what are you doing?
That story, in Trump's defense, I will stand in Trump's defense because I read a great article this morning at hotair.com where they said that, Chris Chillo at the Washington Post, who took that and compared it to Hillary's tweet, completely ignored the first two tweets that Trump did. There were two tweets before that tweet that said,
condolences.
It's condolences and, you got to pray. They're in our prayers and all this kind of stuff. So if you actually that was very disingenuous. And I am not a Trump fan, but I am a fan of truth. So that was absolutely so here we go. Horrific incident in Florida, praying for all the victims and their families. When will this stop? When will we get tough, smart, and vigilant? Well, guess what? If you put that up against, and there's a couple of other ones in there as well, but if you put that up against what Hillary said, it's completely the same thing. So that's an unfair whack at Trump.
I'm putting it in the context because I did read the other tweets. I did see the first ones. I did see the condolences, which they don't mean anything. I'm sure that they're sincere, but everyone says that. No, I'm only going on that particular tweet.
Just the one.
Yeah, I'm not comparing it with what she said at all. I'm simply saying as a one-off, what are you doing thinking that way? Like, if you want to be the commander-in-chief, there's a certain amount of there's a certain way to address it. And can you picture Reagan or fucking even Clinton or Obama or Bush, senior or junior,
none of those
fucking
guys would have done
thanking
that.
everyone for saying I was right?
No,
like,
listen, this is my key problem with Trump. It goes to temperament. Okay, this really does go to temperament, and I marched in the Tea Party rallies in 2010. I worked to help get people who I thought would respect the Constitution elected to go to D.C. to change things. And I get people want to drop an atom bomb on D.C. and blow it all up. That's great. But we still need to say what happens after you blow it up and what does Trump do when he's in office? We kept hearing Trump's going to pivot. He's going to act more presidential, all this kind of stuff. And I have long held that he is interviewing for the most important job in the world. He is on his best behavior right now. You are seeing it. And it is that... So what is the insults to people and all that kind of stuff? I know you guys have a certain immunity to it because you live in New York and you've been around Trump all the time, but he looks like a boorish jackass.
It was fun for a while, but now that it's getting more and more serious, I'm like, we just back off that stuff a little bit. Now you obviously vote Republican, so what do you're not? Are you voting for Trump? Or what does someone like you do if you're not fully into your candidate?
It's interesting.
And I'm not voting for either.
Yeah, so very interesting. So my barber in Nashville is probably the most conservative guy I know. Hyper conservative. And I said, what are you doing? And he says, well, it looks like I'm voting for Gary Johnson again. I mean, this guy wouldn't even vote for Romney. He was conservative. Okay. So he says he's voting for Gary Johnson. You know what?
But what do you do?
I got such concerns about, well, first of all, let's be clear. I live in Tennessee. That state is deep red. It's going to go for Trump. So my vote
doesn't
count. Like when I lived in Chicago and I would vote Republican and it would go completely Democrat. So my vote didn't count in Chicago and my vote is not going to count here.
But is it okay to just...
you have to go and show up, though. You have to vote the down-ticket races because we want to hold on to Congress.
I was going to ask, do you sit out or do you just vote, for the local guys? And
No, you can write in. I may write somebody in. I may, there's a lot of stuff about Gary Johnson and I've met him and he's a super nice guy, but there's stuff on the Libertarian ticket that even though I have libertarian leanings, I'm not cool with. I want a border. Guess what? I bet you libertarians lock their doors at night. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they lock their doors? I think libertarians lock their doors.
I like the fat guy that did the strip tease.
Like, what was he doing?
That doesn't help your party if you're trying to get...
that's not helpful.
No, it's not helpful.
When you're trying to get more people to take your party seriously, you can't have the fat guy doing a strip. I loved it personally, but...
I had never watched the convention before this one, and it was something to watch. I bet they got the best ratings ever.
But it's embarrassing. It's like this is a time where, again, things are kind of in an upheaval. Trump is a response to people being tired of what's the status quo on both sides.
Yep.
And
you could grab a lot of people.
A lot of people. If not now, then in 4 years after people see maybe he does. And this jerk off makes it about himself. Brad, that's really not good for the party.
And Brad, what is it with American politics that in the end our choices are Clinton and Trump? That's fucked up.
Isn't that bad? In a country of 300 million people, that's the best we can do.
Where that guy's available.
I have to tell you, as somebody who's voted Republican, this was the deepest, most talented bench I have ever seen in my lifetime. I mean, you look at Scott Walker, Governor Perry, Bobby Jindal, all these people that were in there and ready to run it. I really liked Carly Fiorina too. I thought she was extremely good in debates. So I knew that the war to dismantle things in Washington wasn't going to happen overnight. It was going to happen over time. But there are people that say, no, screw it. We're going to drop that big orange atom bomb called Donald Trump on D.C. and that's it, and let the chips fall where they may. I have my concerns about Trump's ability. So people say to me the big thing. So friends will say to me, Supreme Court justices, what are you going to do? And I say to them, well, wait a second. Suppose Trump does win as president, but he loses Congress, and now there's a democratically controlled Congress. What kind of justices do you think Trump's going to put up? I think Trump will put up ones that he thinks he can win with, meaning he's not going to have to fight. Right. He's going to get them passed, and they're going to go in. And Trump came out with that list. So here's, speaking about Trump and his temperament, here's what drives me crazy. Trump comes out with a great list, potentially, of Supreme Court justices. Conservatives are finally wiping the sweat off their brows, going, whew, all right, maybe Trump's going to be okay. And then within 24 hours, he goes, but it was only a suggestion. Maybe I pick from the list. Maybe I don't pick from. It's like, stop. Just stop. Put the list out. Shut up. Don't say anything else. Leave it out there. Well, I guess that's contrary to wanting to get to the bottom of it. I'd rather him say the truth, and if he's not going to pick from the list, don't pick from the list. But he's not conservative. He's not a religious guy, and that's fine. But don't hold up your family Bible and tell me you love the Bible more than anybody else. Don't tell me that you're so conservative. He's talking about he's going to go after Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon and the Washington Post. Wait till I'm in office and see what I do to Jeff Bezos.
Why is he going after him?
Because he doesn't like Bezos. Because the Washington Post does things that Trump finds they're not nice to him. See, Trump's deal is if he doesn't win or he doesn't get a great article, then it's rigged. It's unfair. The idea that Trump can't admit maybe something didn't go his way because didn't have to, he didn't put in the effort, whatever it is, this inability to kind of it's narcissism.
Well,
I mean, when you look at it,
I believe he surrounded himself. He's a very good businessman, obviously, and he probably surrounded himself with a lot of yes men. So he's not really used to taking this type of criticism.
Probably look at his kids. His kids are fantastic. When I look at his kids,
Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, Eric and Ivanka. He's got great kids. They're extremely bright, very polite, all this kind of stuff. And then I kind of ratchet up and look at him, and I'm going, this is an issue. This guy that has to insult everybody all the time and can't get off that thin-skinnedness that every single insult has to be responded to.
You feel like he's thin-skinned as well?
Absolutely thin-skinned. I mean, you can't let anything go. He doesn't let anything slide. And I will make a prediction here on your show. As Obama kept his BlackBerry, if Donald Trump becomes president, he will keep that Twitter account. He will keep it, and he will say that's how he keeps in touch with the people who put him in the White House. Direct conduit to those people.
So yeah, that is kind of like a flaw in him. But then again, you look at the other side, Obama, who just won't say anything vaguely impolite, and that becomes repulsive too.
It is by no means, and we haven't talked that much about Obama here. I am not an Obama fan.
Would you vote for Hillary?
Any stretch? No, I'm not. I just Hillary. So here's my scenario that I'm looking at. Hillary is a hardcore progressive. So Hillary believes in the power of the state and enlarging the state. So I know that my rights under a President Hillary Clinton will be eroded and that the government's going to grow in power. So she doesn't like the Second Amendment, things like this. So under a progressive, my rights are going to erode. My fear about Trump, because he is incapable of pivoting to a more presidential temperament and character. My fear about Trump is that Trump, once he gets into office, could be a full-on authoritarian, that he's not going to respect the Constitution. So No.
He still has the Congress and the Senate, though, to do it.
But that's my thing. This Congress won't stand up to Obama, and they're all Republicans, and Obama's a Democrat. You think they're going to stand up to a fellow Republican?
Well, didn't they shut the government down? I mean, again, not working, both sides not working together. And Obama, again, who is pretty left-wing, he hasn't wrecked the Second Amendment, or none of them get that much done. So Trump wouldn't either. He would get a little bit done. Congress and Senate fighting him on the dumb shit. I mean, I don't think he'd be this crazy person.
The idea is that if you've got a Republican-controlled Congress and you've got a Republican president, you should be able to get a lot done.
Yeah, no
You should be able to get a lot done. So what I've wanted to see from Trump, like in the beginning when Trump was running, I had a lot of people ask me, well, what do you think about him being in the race? I said, hey, if he draws attention to those kind of key Republican ideas of limited government and personal responsibility, that kind of stuff, a smaller government, if he draws attention to that, I'm like, that's great. That's great for this race. Hell, I'd have Snooki in the race if Snooki would help draw attention to that kind of stuff. So Trump is a guy that I could have fallen behind, potentially, if he had really had that road to Damascus conversion. But Trump's answer throughout his whole life has always been, his answer to any government problem has always been more government. I mean, Trump was for an assault weapons ban. Trump was pro eminent domain. Trump was for socialized health care, all this kind of stuff. Trump is not a politician, so I have to look at Trump's history of what he said, what he's written in his books, and all this kind of stuff. And I've joked around saying anybody who's come to Jesus this many times as an adult ought to have their own parking space in the church parking lot. Nobody flip-flops on all of these issues. I don't really know what Trump stands for.
Some drastic flip-flops.
Oh, my God. Women should be punished for having an abortion. I mean,
that's not fair, though. He was roped into that answer by Chris Matthews, who is a more experienced political isolating interviewer than Trump was a subject.
That was probably one of the best interviews of Trump I have ever seen. Matthews did not let him wiggle, because Trump can demagogue his way out of any interview question, but Matthews stuck him.
No, but he penned him. That was unfair because in that moment, I saw what he did. He penned him in by slowly removing the exits. So do you think? But meanwhile, at least Trump gave an answer. Fucking Ted Cruz, that weasel, just wouldn't answer.
Sure.
He, a true politician, refused to answer. I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose. Like that weaselly shit that they do. At least Trump gave an answer and was penned in by a more experienced interviewer.
Cruz doesn't want to support Trump.
No, I don't think he does.
At the end of the day, but he's not going to really vocalize that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Marco Rubio's taken a lot of heat for saying, I'll even go to the convention for him.
Yeah, he doesn't want to support Trump. I that's when you lose me. I'm like, who's the real politician? I saw where you didn't get along with this guy and think it'd be the worst thing for this country. And now, because you're in the same party, you got to kind of play that game.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to me. To see those guys, you know,
where are your principles? If he's that bad,
like
the party stuff doesn't matter. You don't put your party above your principles.
Well, it's in both parties do it. Though.
All do it.
They all do
yeah.
it.
When's the last time one endorsed
out the Republicans?
No, listen, D.C. is all about D.C. If you travel, and I don't know how many of your listeners, I bet a lot of them have been to D.C., but I'm always stunned when I go that it has been untouched by any economic hardship. Everybody's doing well in the federal government. There's more government bureaucrats making six-figure salaries than ever in our history. There's no empty storefronts. Real estate values haven't dropped in D.C. in those areas. So it's amazing. It's like, I call it Rome on the Potomac. I mean, these guys are doing real well. Meanwhile, the rest of the country, you know, I lived in Chicago, now I live in Nashville. They're out of touch. So I understand the Bernie supporters, and I can't stand socialism, but I understand the Bernie supporters are they're ticked off and the Trump supporters.
I know who I respect, and I never liked the guy, and I certainly don't like him as I say this. But Mitt Romney for sticking to his guns. I respect Mitt Romney. I'm amazed I'm saying this.
I do too. It's amazing.
Because this guy's like, I don't like Trump, and I'm going to continue saying I don't like Trump, and I don't think this guy, you know, is right for the presidency. I respect that because he didn't like do the whole party first thing.
I agree 100%. I think that's terrific. And, you know,
and in a way, sorry, I'm going off on a rant now. But in a way, you have these guys like the Cruz, you know, I hate saying the Cruzes and all that. So let's just say Cruz, Rubio, Mitt Romney. You know, when they say stuff like that, it could help Trump get more presidential. By look, we have real problems with you. You're in our party.
Bingo. Right? This is what. So here's where I am. So there's Politico has a list of 100 prominent never Trump people. I'm on that list. I have been very vocal saying never Trump. Okay, so I'm on that list. And I had a discussion with a good friend of mine the other day who is going to vote for Trump. And I said, that's fine. But this is the point to wring more concessions out of Trump. Okay, we know Trump's not conservative. We know Trump doesn't know a lot about government and how it works. So how about instead of just falling right in line because you're a Republican, you're going to vote for him because he's the nominee, how about holding back a little bit? How about making Trump fear, maybe I can't do this without the conservatives in the diehard Republicans, and maybe I need to do some things other than presenting a list of maybes for the Supreme Court. Maybe Trump's got to come out with a vice presidential candidate that we can believe in, and he's going to put all these other people in his cabinet. Maybe he'll do that before the nomination at the convention. But you just don't throw in and say, oh, well, he's got it. Okay, I'm behind him. That takes the pressure off Trump.
Yeah.
I think the pressure, and I agree with you, it ought to be kept up to get him to be more presidential and to commit to having good people around him.
Brad's book is called A Foreign Agent. He's in promoting his book. We haven't promoted his book. Yeah. Just so you know, that's why he's here. He's the number one time bestseller.
I promote it. I'm downloading it. And I'm going to they're great reads.
It comes out tomorrow.
I mean, the famous, they're page turners. I love a good page turner. You don't want to put the damn thing down.
Book in the hand, I said so's in the tan.
It's your summer read.
Toes in the sand.
My summer
Feet in the sand. How about that?
Feet in the sand. Okay.
I'm going to have a grapefruit beer, and I'm going to have my toes in the sand, and I'm going to have my book in my hand.
Yeah, a little bit of sunblock on your nose so you don't get a nice red nose.
And a penis rubbing around my face.
Bring out my glasses. My shoes and my glasses.
Who are you hearing for vice president? On both sides. I mean, you're more in this game than we are.
You know what? I mean,
what names are
there have been a couple of names that are out. One is actually Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. She's a tough lady. I actually saw her the other night, and I was talking to her a little bit about this. I think she's super smart, super smart.
She looks like Regis's wife.
You think she does?
Oh my God, that is only going to make sense to a few people. She looks like Joy. That's so strange. Anyway, go ahead.
She's a super smart lady. I like Marsha Blackburn a lot. And very just nice and very, very smart.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah, Bob Corker, another guy. I mean, it's interesting. Bob was on the list, which is another Senator Corker, so that's another Tennessee person. It's very interesting to see, on that list to have two Tennessee people. Obviously, Newt Gingrich, who's
Is that real?
Totally smart. Yeah, that's one of the ones that has been kicked around for Trump. At one point, it's obviously not going to happen. Susana Martinez, the governor of New Mexico,
I heard that was his best choice.
Yeah, well, he insulted her. He went out.
I know.
He's got the nomination. You see, it's that kind of stuff. It's the Ted Cruz. Even after Trump's got it sewn up, and he's going after Cruz's father for, he's involved with the JFK assassination. It's like, let that crap drop. No 9/11 conspiracy bullshit, and that's not.
A lot of people said that Trump's best shot was Susana Martinez, and then
he went and insulted her.
And then he insulted her.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know who would be the best fit for Trump. I mean, you're going to have somebody who's got a real strong personality, who won't be kind of cowed. And it might be that Trump isn't. What's really going to be interesting is how the hell does Trump step away from all his businesses? Because you've got to put that stuff in a blind trust. He can't talk to his kids about how the businesses are being run. That's going to be very difficult, I think, for Trump when Trump is the Trump brand and now Trump's president and can't have his hands in.
There's also rumors that Trump's just blown himself up because he's realizing, oh my God, this is going to take way too much of my time and my businesses I have to leave alone.
I hope that's not true, because I'd like to listen.
I don't know how
serious
give him that conversation is. But
I want to get. There was a high level defector from his campaign that said, I was never hired to get him any higher than second place. This was all supposed to be an effort to get him to second place so that he could say, for the next 4 years, 8 years, if you'd only picked me, things would be better. That this was a brand building experience. But he's come this far, and I think you have to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. You have to say he loves the country. As much as I'm not a fan of Trump, I believe he loves the country, and he's doing this because he really does want to make the country better. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one, because it would be unforgivable if this was a brand building experience to wreck. I mean, the Republican Party is wrecked. Friendships are wrecked. I mean, he has been.
It's pretty crazy.
It's been nuts.
I know we've got to wrap up in a couple minutes, but you left Chicago.
Moved to Nashville.
Behind.
Yep, 2 years ago
and
this
you said
week.
You were going to do it. You were like, I'm out of here. I remember, we had you on, and then also through Twitter and all, and now you're in Nashville, and you just see a major difference?
It's amazing. So they've got a balanced budget down there. We left because of the violence and the taxes in Illinois.
Was the violence getting closer and closer to you up there?
It was. So there were places we had to tell the babysitter, you can't take the kids to the beach, you can't go to this park, all that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, they finally got concealed carry there, so back to guns again, Jimmy. But it was getting so bad with the violence, and it was creeping into our neighborhood. And we said, man, you guys bend us over with these property taxes, and yet we're now shrinking in. It's like the frickin' purge. We're not leaving the house, and we're paying all this money. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So we said, if it doesn't get better, if the people in Illinois don't stop voting the same people into office, we're going to leave. And so we did. Capital is portable. That's the great thing about states. You can move to another state.
Plus, your job allows that because you write.
Sure.
Do you I'm fascinated with someone who can just write and be so prolific. Do you wake up every day and go, okay, from 9 to noon, I'm writing? Or do you just kind of have to hit you?
Jack London once said, you can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. And it's a job. And I love my job, but my job. Greatest job in the world, but I have to be better with each book. I never want a reader to say, well, Thor phoned it in on that one. I want him to say, you know what, every thriller he keeps getting better. So I glue my butt to that chair in my office, and I've got a certain amount of words I'm going to do in the day, and I do not leave until those are done.
So you have an office in the house, a separate room you go to, and is it just a plain office, or do you have stuff around that makes it easier for you to write, or do you have a TV in there, or do you not?
I get a TV, and I got a desk, and it looks like any other office.
Do you have like a Nerf basket?
Yeah, exactly. I can shoot the one that hangs on the back of the door. Exactly, and I can shoot baskets. No, I got an office just like any other one. I've got stuff that I've collected. I'm very fond of stuff that people in the military have given me. I've got a great collection of challenge coins, and I've been given some really cool knives and stuff like that. Because I really think when I'm writing about men and women of the CIA and the special operations community in my thrillers, that's their brand, and I have a tremendous amount of responsibility to really be as complimentary of the brand as I can. I have a lot of young people say, you know what? It's because of reading your novels I decided I want to be a SEAL, or I want to go I want to be an Army Ranger.
Not that I would know, but I feel when I read your books that they're well researched.
That's a big part of it too.
I feel that anyway. I don't know if it's true.
They are.
But I'm like, man, I think this guy does a lot of research to make sure the details are.
And I try to make it fun. And people will Google. They'll have their laptops open when they read my book because they're like, that can't be real. And then they look at it. They're like, oh my god. And so it's supposed to be a fun read. White knuckle, edge of your seat. Fun read, and then if you close it and you know more stuff than when you started, that for me is the icing on the cake.
Well, when you're writing every day, do you see some of your stuff and go, "Oh God, thank God, no one will ever read this"?
Yeah,
and do you shred it, or do you kind of put it in a special file?
I call my wife Zorro. My wife's got a big red pen, and she's the first person that reads it. She rips shit out all the time.
Do you guys fight about it?
No. Listen, I wanted to marry Meg Ryan. I did even better than Meg Ryan. My wife is so smart, so sweet. No, and she reads a ton. She knows what's good writing and what sucks, and she'll tell me.
Brad is whipped. I like that.
I love it.
She comes in and goes, "You're not writing that." He goes, "All right, take it."
Okay. I'm sorry, sir. Hey, what is? I don't think we did the book justice. Foreign Agent. What is it about? Before we let you go.
So Foreign Agent. It starts right away on page 1 with a special operations team. We've got the best guys in the world going to do a raid into Syria, and they get ambushed, and all the focus goes to my main character, Scott Harvath. The finger points at him. You were the guy who developed the intel for the raid, and now all these guys got smoked. You've got something to do with this. And so clock's ticking against him to unravel it, figure out what happened. But a lot of what's going on in the news right now is happening inside Foreign Agent. So that's my job. Give you a fun summer read and have you close it smarter than when you started.
And also, Brad has a book tour they want us to mention, too. He's doing a lot of dates. Thursday, I guess it starts. That's the first one we have.
Philly. Yep.
The Fuge in Warminster, which is right outside of Philly. Friday, he'll be in Atlanta. Saturday, Barnes & Noble in Orlando. Oh, you're heading down there. Barnes & Noble in Corpus Christi coming up. There's a lot of dates. I'm guessing, is there a website with a central?
Yep, bradthor.com, BRADTHOR.com. And I have to tell you, I get more Twitter followers from your show than any other thing I've ever done. Like, I'll go now, and there'll be all these people. Hey, I heard you on Opie and Jimmy. Fantastic.
Strong.
Yeah, very strong. You guys have a great audience. Great
We
listeners.
can't build our own numbers, but we can build the Twitter followers.
Absolutely.
Our guests.
Yeah, they hate us, but...
Yeah, no kidding. Hate us, but boy, they'll fully support our guests. Sons of bitches.
I just blocked some douche on Twitter who's like, since when did both sides of the fence Jimmy become an expert on mental illness? I don't know. Do you really have to be an expert to see mental illness? Like, do you need to be an expert to see that as mentally ill? Sorry.
It affects all of us.
Yes.
We all know mentally ill people that have made your life a living fucking hell.
We gotta
what
wrap
are you
up.
talking about? All right,
Brad, such dicks.
It's Brad Thor on Twitter, right?
Yeah, Brad, you're a really good guest, and I appreciate you coming. And Foreign Agent comes out tomorrow. Brad's a brilliant writer, obviously. So
I think you educated me a little bit on guns. A little bit.
Thanks, guys.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Bob De Niro, a little bit.
All right. Well, look what we got here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Travis, sorry.
No. Don't apologize to me.
Apologize to the Nagel?
Yeah. This was a Nagel request.
I like the Nagel request. So we're talking about books in your hand and toes in the sand.
Zach Brown band.
Zach Brown has this is Zach? Mm-hmm. All right. I like a little Zach Brown when I hear it. Couldn't name a song, but when someone
Toes in the Sand.
Well, now I can name this one. Of course, but I mean, Jesus. Sherrod has shown up. Look at who just
this is the beginning of the show, right?
Studio.
I'm ready for an exciting show this morning.
Only 3 hours late.
Well, 3 hours late? I thought I was on... Wait, what happened?
If we were paying you any reasonable amount, then I would bitch. But Jesus, we'll get what we can get.
So am I getting paid my hummus and pita bread today?
That's about it.
God damn it.
Look who showed up.
Oh,
hey,
wow.
Just in time to kind of wrap up.
Wow, earlier than normal. Good to have you.
Really blowing up those stereotypes, are you?
What happened?
You mean to tell me it's not 7 a.m. right now? This is not
And on a Monday, too, huh?
Yeah, it was a rough weekend.
And on a Monday, that old gag.
And I'm in here looking at pictures of sandwiches.
Yeah, really? But
Yeah.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's. What are we talking? Roast beef today?
Maybe. Might have to be a roast beef day.
Yeah. Well, you didn't miss much. It was one of those serious fucking radio shows.
I heard
today.
a lot of
garbage.
I was in a room with Roland and I'm listening. A lot of gun talk and
with Brad Thor.
Yeah. But he made a good point about that. You know,
He made a
guys
few
coming
good
at
points.
you. You know, that one thing about the needing more bullets in the magazine. That's not a crazy thing to say.
He
So.
made some really good points. That's why, like I said 3 hours ago, when someone should have been here.
Whoa. I mean,
I don't.
wow. I had a march on Washington.
I don't have a solution. I have no problem saying I don't have a fucking solution.
I can say this about Brad Thor.
Yeah.
Handsome man. Handsome man. Easy on the eyes, that Brad
A
Thor.
little easier on the eyes, great head of hair,
Yeah.
but a much taller man's name. Brad Thor. You should be 6'3" minimum to have the name Brad Thor. But he's a delightful little fellow in a suit, and he writes awesome books.
He's all right.
Oh, man. That's not his real name, though. No way, right?
I don't know. It might be.
Thor?
Yeah. Well, no, it's actually his real name is Brad God of Thunder, and he said, no, that's just too weird. Boo. Fucking boo.
I would bet that it's not his real name.
That's good.
He writes thrillers, and his name's Brad Thor. I don't know.
12th book? What of them is this? How many books you got out?
I've read about 2 or 3 of his.
You got a bunch of books out here.
Yeah, Brad Thor is his pen name. His real name is Jerry Liberal, and he said that doesn't suit with what.
Those 3 are signed for listeners, by the way. So why don't we give those away right now? Brad Thor signed Foreign Agent, his latest book. I think it comes out tomorrow officially, right?
Shouldn't they have to earn it?
Oh, you want to do that?
Absolutely. Maybe if you want to sign Brad Thor book, you call up and we're going to play a little trivia about the interview.
Yeah. You're here for trivia about the interview.
I have a splitting headache, by the way.
So do I. What the fuck's that about?
I don't know. Trivia about the interview.
Drinking water like crazy over here.
Yeah.
What else is going on as the phones ring? Fucking Penguins won the cup, and it's not looking good for the Cavaliers as they go back to Golden State tonight for Game 5.
Yeah. LeBron, he got a lot of chance right now.
And what's his name got suspended?
He's thought who?
Oh my goodness. The guy that likes kicking everyone in the balls.
Me?
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I know who you mean. The Golden State Warrior man.
Oh,
the man on the Golden Warrior.
Green,
the
yes.
black fella.
Green.
Green got suspended.
Green, who used to play for the Celtics?
No,
yes.
Draymond.
No, it was AC Green from the
Draymond
Lakers.
Green.
Oh, Draymond got suspended.
Yeah, he
Green
got
with
suspended
envy.
for, yes, we hear the Green with envy.
You heard what I said.
Okay. All right, so Cleveland can win this one.
Yeah.
Draymond is the heartbeat of the Golden State Warriors.
That's what they say.
So maybe they can pull this out.
They rally around what Draymond has to say in those huddles.
Why they suspend him? Is the fix in?
I forgot his name for a second.
The fix is in.
Fix is in. They wanted to be a little closer.
NBA behind that.
That's going to be tough when LeBron loses it again. This was his third shot.
That's what he gets.
Third shot at the finals in Cleveland, right?
Trying to make everybody happy. He should have stayed in Miami. Going back to Cleveland.
And do what? That team was starting
when they showed
get old.
After the last game, they showed the stands, the fans in the stands, and everybody all sad face. And I was like, yeah, that's you, Cleveland.
What the fuck?
That's what you're supposed to
what
be.
What did Cleveland do to
You're
you?
allowed to be happy.
I mean, but that's what they revel in, that type of shit. The losses and the shit. Sometimes loss is good for a town because it's familiar.
Because then they're going to win the championship and go, now what?
Now, yeah, what do you think you are now?
This was our thing for 52 years.
What about Boston? They won, and all of a sudden they want this identity as winners, and it just doesn't suit them.
But Boston had other teams winning while the
certainly
Sox
did.
were losing. Cleveland had all teams losing.
Yeah, that's true.
Are we going to do the Nagel seed fucking story before we get out of here today?
I would
We
hope
better.
so.
What happened?
Professor Nagel. We have a Professor Nagel.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
But we're going to do trivia about the interview. Let's say hi to Jay.
Oh,
in
hang
North
on,
Carolina.
hang on.
What happened? Oh, sorry. You're right.
It's time for
A little trivia about the interview. Little trivia about the interview. Hello.
Hello?
Welcome to Trivia About the Interview. You want the Brad Thor book signed, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Let's see here. I'll give you a little trivia about the interview. What is the name of the book?
Oh, fuck, I forgot. Foreign something.
No, that's wrong. Goodbye.
You got to know the name of the book.
Foreign Agent. Not foreign something.
All right, let's say hi to Paul in Jersey.
Hi.
That's a trivia for you. Brad Thor's real name is Brad Thorberg. It was too Jewish. He shortened it.
Brad Thorberg. Oh, I didn't know that.
You might have to get a book.
You know what,
that's
sir?
Trivia. He put trivia right in your face.
You know that? No, you're playing a game called Additional Facts About the Interview.
Wait. That's not his real. That's not his original name.
Oh.
Guys, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You gotta get a book. You gotta get a book for that.
Yes, you do. Because
what the fuck? I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Lies about the interview.
Bradley George.
Lies about the interview.
How gullible am I?
Because it's a Jewish name. We believe it.
Right.
And, sir, give your name and address off air because you've won Lies about the interview.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Good job, Paul.
Thank you. Yay.
Son of a bitch.
Who's next? Trivia about the interview.
His name.
Trivia about the interview. Ooh.
Yeah.
A stinger.
Bradley George Thor the Junior. That was
Thor is his real last
That was his name when he was born. All right, Scott in Chicago.
Scott,
I'm ready.
welcome to Trivia about the interview. What city did Brad Thor live in before Nashville?
Excellent question.
It was in Chicago.
My God, the Chicago guy, hometowner. Congratulations, you've won a book on Trivia about the interview.
Yes.
Chicago, remembered Chicago. And as a result of your paying attention, you get a signed Brad Thor book. Ooh.
Nice.
These questions
That's right, you probably use
today.
fast acting, tenactin on your feet. It's tough acting, tenactin. God damn it, E-Rock, you wrote fast acting, tenactin. It's tough acting, tenactin. You bag of garbage. You're a pile of garbage writing the wrong stuff. Fast acting, tenactin. What's your favorite movie there, you pile of garbage? The Tough and the Furious? God damn you. I'm in the middle of the old thing, you jagoff.
Chicago, that's nice. You spent some time in Chicago, right?
Yeah, I did over there. I like tough acting, tenactin, until stupid's writing it. Old saves his cum in a baggie. Hey, that one professor's throwing his loads all over. Not this one. He's putting his cum in a baggie and putting it in his pocket and going home. Hey, I'm not leaving my cum around. It's valuable. It's valuable cum. And he puts the wrong goddamn word up there. What's your favorite Motley Crue song? Too Tough for Love? God damn it, mixing them words up. Really annoys me. All right, let's go a little trivia about the interview.
Yeah. We say hi to Brad in Akron, Ohio.
Oh, Brad.
LeBron country.
Well, there was country.
Ready to play.
All right, Brad, ready to play trivia about the interview. Let's see. Who did Brad Thor say is going to vote for Gary Johnson again?
Who did Brad say? I think he said he was going to reveal that in Columbus on July 21st.
Oh, that's the Jim Norton show.
Wow.
That might not be accurate trivia, but that's plugs throughout the interview.
Yes.
For that, you get a book.
Oh, wow. You brown noser.
Plugs throughout the interview. A big hit. Tough acting, tenactin. I'm just coming unraveled at this point.
Wow. You got a book through
July
brown
21st, huh?
That's right. I'm going to be out there in Columbus, and I get Albuquerque on Friday this week and Salt Lake on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of whole stuff.
All right, hold on the line, Brad, for a book. By the way, the answer was, I think it's barber, right?
His barber, yes.
Because some people just need to know.
What do you eat on the road? Like, where do you go on the road?
Bookers and cum. How about you?
What the fuck do you eat?
I eat healthy on the road. I try to. I eat
But
a lot
how? That's why I'm saying it's so hard to do that.
Well, once in a while, you grilled. It's funny when I was in Long
Find a
Island, I ate
supermarket.
poorly. I had a few little pretzels. But you find a supermarket, you go out there, you have a little grilled chicken, you have a little fish.
See, most people wouldn't think pretzels are that bad.
But they are.
You're all in with eating healthy.
Yeah.
Most people go, I'm eating pretzels. It's better than ice cream or better than potato chips.
Yeah. I reckon.
Let's go to the Nagel story, Professor Nagel, before we get out of here.
That's right. Not to be confused with our own joint Globex shirt-wearing Professor Nagel.
Our Professor Nagel used to take his cum home with him when he was on booty calls.
He'd fuck a girl with a rubber on.
And then he would take the rubber with him.
Wouldn't even flush it.
Why? What is he, like an NBA player? Only,
Yeah.
only people with a lot of money do shit like
He's
that.
afraid they were going to snake the toilets and grab his golden cum and use it to knock themselves up.
You remember the story of the NBA player? Like some girl froze his cum, and then 2 girls got pregnant by it. One girl he never met.
Wow.
Never met.
Never met.
Is that
she
his
used
story?
it too.
Was that proven?
Yeah, that's what happened.
She used it too.
It was more than one person used it.
Wow.
So you were a smart man to have a bag of cum in your fucking glove compartment.
But he just ate it in the car. It was more of a snack to go. He ate his own cum in the balloon. He likes it because it's a slow time release, like a capsule.
Like Gogurt.
Like Gogurt.
Astronaut food for Nagel. So that's the truth, though. You used to go home with your seed?
Yeah, I would wrap it in toilet paper and throw it in that little change pocket that you have in your jeans.
That's right.
And then go home.
That's true. And then you'd go to get a gumball and you'd fish in that change pocket and have cum and boogies all over your hand. Attaboy.
Lights for everyone.
Did you ever leave one in there by mistake?
Yeah.
Left a...
No.
Come on. One time you had
because
to.
usually the drive home
everywhere.
is when I throw it out.
Really?
Oh,
So
it's
you've
like
been throwing loads. So someone's walking, and all of a sudden a load comes flying. That's why that American Indian was crying in that commercial. One of your fucking load rubbers flew at his feet.
Wait, you would throw them out the window on your way home?
Yeah, the side of the highway.
Oh, there's some homeless person that has your kid.
Yeah, people have been stepping in your cum for decades.
And there's just a bunch of weird animals out
Or are
there.
you banging married women or something? That's why you didn't want to leave a trace?
No, just I was paranoid.
Well,
Can you keep an erection in a condom?
Yes.
It's so hard.
It depends. It depends on the
Any
situation.
excuse not to wear one, right, Jim?
Yes.
It depends on the situation.
Well, Professor Nagel does not protect his sperm like our Nagel. Yes. He's giving it away to women in city bathrooms who don't want to deal with sperm banks.
He's going to open himself up to lawsuits and litigation. What a dope.
Look at how proud he is. This is not going to be good for him.
Let's say Joe Namath.
A little bit, right? Professor who donates sperm in city bathrooms has sired 22 kids. On a busy night last week at the Target on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn,
BK?
Harry Nagel, 40, emerged from the men's bathroom looking a little flushed and quite pleased with himself. It's better when it's fresh, he told them.
What?
It is Nagel's semen, and it's in demand.
Mark that.
The 6'2" Nagel there, he's a math professor at CUNY Kingsborough.
Just
Wow.
like our Nagel.
It's smart semen.
Yes.
He's a math professor, has served as...
Except our guy is short and dumb. He's tall and smart. Different.
Has served as a sperm donor for dozens of locals, siring 22 kids over the past 12 years with 18 women of various backgrounds. For lesbian couples and single ladies looking to have a baby without the expense of going through a sperm bank, which could run in the thousands of dollars.
Tens of thousands.
Does it say tens of thousands?
It can, because you get artificially inseminated.
Oh.
That costs money, too.
He's the number one dad.
Because he ain't got to spend time with his fucking kids.
This isn't time consuming, and I'm doing it anyway, he says of his hand-on hobby. Get it? Hand-on hobby. It's very easy for me to do. His oldest child, now 12, was conceived with a woman he was in a committed relationship with, but all of his offspring since, he says, have resulted from his donations.
That sucks for the one kid who's like, Dad, can you stop jerking off in bathrooms? People talking.
He's fucking up his business, too. He's not going to be able to do this too much longer. Someone's going to come forward and start some kind of dumb lawsuit or whatever. About half the time, he provides his seed the old-fashioned way. Sometimes a lesbian looking to conceive will have her partner in the bed for moral support while she and Nagel engage in intercourse. Wow.
Now, that part is all right.
Wow.
I'm going to fuck the lesbian out of you. I'm going to make her watch.
You would like that challenge, wouldn't you?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, I would like that challenge.
That's the Fear Factor show I want to be on.
She's never slept with a guy before, so the partner's in bed holding her hand. Holy fuck. This guy rules it a weird way, doesn't he?
You'll get through this, Sharon.
Sometimes it can be a little painful. Then after a few times, they're comfortable to do it on their own. Other times, he supplies his goods in a cup, which he prefers. I'm not doing it for easy action, Nagel says. Isn't that what Tinder is for? Oh, he's a jokester.
Yep, just like our own Nagel. Just like our own sweet Eric.
He often uses public bathrooms like those at Target and at Starbucks shops to
That's gonna be illegal.
procure his samples, and he hands them off to ovulating women. God, and they run out with his cup.
Do they stand outside the bathroom like this with it in the cup, like in the light, like, this looks kind of thick?
They probably go right in that fucking bathroom. I don't know. Where are we on this?
Right where the arrow is.
Okay. You don't want to do it in one where people are knocking, he notes.
Because that ruins the mood.
He will also offer his services in his home near downtown Brooklyn. But mama wannabes are often more comfortable meeting in public.
Yeah, he has an ad in Backpage magazine, but it don't work out as well.
Hey, what is this about? Once a location is chosen, Nagel will go into the bathroom, pleasure himself while watching porn on his iPhone. You can't connect to Target Wi-Fi if you're connecting to a porn site, so I use my cell service.
That's important info.
My God,
he says, and ejaculate into an instead soft cup.
You know he's going to come when he yells, "Can you hear me now?" Say a little cell service joke.
Oh, they explain it. It's a type of menstrual cup. All right, there you go.
And he's never thrown out the bathroom? I mean...
I guess no one really knew this was going on except for him and the lady until now. Now they're going to be on the lookout for this guy. He then delivers a specimen to the woman who goes into the lady's restroom and inserts it into her cervix. Oh, wow.
Wow.
I could keep it in for 12 hours, says Dee, a 40-year-old lesbian from the Bronx who was one of the women meeting Nagel at the Target last week.
She can keep the semen in her for 12 hours?
Dee, who declined to give her last name, had tried a few... Wow, but the first name's not going to give it away?
Yeah, it's only 3 Diggies in the tri-state area.
Give her last name. Had tried a few times before using Nagel's sperm, but hadn't yet conceived. This time might do the trick. The prolific professor is often successful, which he attributes to high sperm count. This fucking guy. 85 million per milliliter, if you need to know.
He's a non-weed smoker.
Oh, really? That's what happens to the sperm count?
They'll drop it.
Give you a little drop off.
Oh, yeah, the weed will drop your weed count. I mean, your sperm count, definitely.
It's off the charts, he boasts. Now he's bragging about his sperm count. The clinic said they've never seen anything like it.
God.
I'm trying to skip ahead. Do we need all this? Nagel made his first foray into professional baby making 8 years ago with a friend, a single, straight Jewish woman in her late 30s, living on the Upper West Side. I actually tried to fix
prejudice against Italians.
I actually tried to fix her up. I had a friend who I thought would be a better match as a sperm donor, he says. He got cold feet at the last minute. So Nagel went with the woman to the fertility clinic. All right. What else?
Brad Thor has something. He's coming back in.
Ooh.
Come in, Brad. Yeah.
Come
Brad
on back
Thor
in.
is coming in.
And Eric, find more parts of this article worth reading.
Oh, thanks,
But
Brad.
I had this I brought these.
Oh,
and
thanks,
I
Bob.
brought one for each of
Oh,
you.
wow, Brad.
Brad Thor, foreign agent.
Yeah, right on.
All right.
Very
That's pretty
nice.
cool. Thank you.
It's like a medal.
Challenge coin.
What's a challenge coin?
Military units, law enforcement, they have them as kind of a, hey, thanks for helping out. Sort of thing. Thanks for helping out.
Can I get out of a speeding ticket with this?
I don't know. It depends. If you got a copper who likes Brad Thor,
Then we might be in luck.
maybe.
All right. Well, thank you, Brad. I like the smell.
guys.
Thanks,
I really
Brad.
appreciate it.
All right, I'll show
Nice.
I'll show her the stripes, the bars and stripes part.
Nice.
That looks legit. That's right.
It's official.
It's official.
Now we have 2 more things to give away. Trivia about the interview.
I like him. He's a friend of the show, but I was this close to going, what am I going to do with this shit?
Boy, this and 50 cents to get you a cup of coffee.
Jimmy, I thought you would treasure it.
I do like Brad.
It's very nice. I'll give mine away to a random caller. What else, Eric, worth reading in here? All this? Really? This is the longest article. Women who have used Nagel's services, which he provides for free, say his good looks, personality, and high sperm count are a draw. He's a lot of fun to be around. He loves people. Nagel?
Cartoons.
Yeah.
He likes craft beers. He enjoys snacks.
Goes into the bathroom and just watches The Simpsons.
He appreciates a little sugar in his water.
Yeah, he likes to.
He likes to treat himself.
He ejaculates while drinking an iced tea and shitting with a fucking Simpsons episode playing on his fucking laptop on his legs, burning his little sore tender legs.
He just loses track of time. He's in there for hours.
Yeah, he just tugs his prick while sipping an iced tea, and he comes in a cup. He puts it on the floor and finishes the episode. The cum dies.
The lady's waiting outside the men's room because he's in the middle of a nice trilogy.
Yeah, what's happening in there? He's got to come out and go, do you have a plunger? Before you get the babies, do you got a plunger? And it's a fucking nice meaty Nagel dump, clogs the old turlet.
I will hand over my goodness after I finish my trilogy.
Yeah, I forgot.
Hang tight. He's a lot of fun to be around. He's outgoing. He's gorgeous, says Tiffany Harrison, 41 of New Jersey, who with her wife, Yvonne, has a toddler daughter, Zoe. As for his own motivations, the Big Daddy insists he just likes spreading his seed.
I hear that.
That's right.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Just like our own Nagel. Fucking goes right into that bathroom at a Target.
Right.
Drops it, jerks off with his pants still around his ankles and his knees parted. His legs are wide open and his trousers and his fucking tighty whities are down around his ankle. And he literally doesn't, he actually, this is why Eric is so beautiful. Because he has the lid up, but instead of sitting on top of the lid, he actually sits on the toilet. Yeah. And he times it so he comes as he's shitting. So there's simulation in the back. Because he likes a finger in his rump.
Really?
Yeah, and a big log will simulate that.
That's a talent.
It certainly is.
That's a lot of things going on at one time. That's like Circus Olay.
I just love.
Did you say Circus Olay?
Circus Olay.
Circus Olay?
Circus Olay.
That's the best, though. All right.
I just love seeing how happy the moms and kids are. That's why I do this. He says it's the gift that keeps on giving. Anything else in this article? This guy is a braggart.
No, I just wanted the drops.
I'm getting joy, getting a good night's rest, he says. Nagel has a Facebook album of photos of his kids and regularly babysits and attends birthday parties and graduations.
Looks like Bobby Cannavale in that one. Jesus Christ.
This whole thing is weird.
How does he not get hit with lawsuits?
He has even been present for a handful of deliveries. He even goes there when the woman's having the kid.
He has? Travis, what happened?
Yeah, that's a super long article, but towards the end, talks about how I think 4 or 5 women have sued him for child support.
That's disgusting.
And I think they've lost each time. But
does he have him sign something?
But he has to pay for attorneys.
No, because it's basically just a handshake deal. It's
all right. Well, that's
you're not going to an
part.
official place.
What awful women!
He should get something they have to sign just to help him out a little bit.
Maybe how does he not lose in court? I don't understand.
Maybe they find a workaround, but at least get him to sign something.
I think if it's in a Target bathroom, a woman can't look at you as a life partner. I think if she dumps the semen in her cunt after a cup from a Target toilet is handed to her, she cannot claim paternity. How did you get that into your womb? Well, he went into the toilet in Target, and I was browsing. I was looking in the houseware section, and I bought some Tupperware. Then I came back, and he came in it, and I dumped it in my box. Wow.
Well, Travis is right. This is interesting. It's worth noting. The first 5 women, like you said, sued him for child support. And nearly half of his paycheck is garnished for his offspring. I don't know what's more surprising, that 5 sued or that 17 did it, Nagel says. They were well aware there was no financial obligation on my part. They all promise in advance they won't sue, but that's like her word against yours. That's not that's stupid.
What shitty fucking people to do that.
He trusted the word of a woman?
Yeah, who would take baby from a bathroom.
Yeah.
And they were desperate to have kids, and this guy took care of you, and then you turn around and try to get money from him on top of it?
It's disgusting.
But this guy's a little weird. Come on.
Yeah.
A little weird?
A little weird.
Yeah.
Well, donating sperm is one thing. Visiting the kids and showing up and like, you know I'm your father, right? It was like, what kind of shit is that?
There was a guy on the phone on the way home outside the Starbucks in my neighborhood, screaming on the phone. I don't know if he was mentally ill or if this was the truth. He's screaming, "I ain't fucking taking no paternity fucking test."
No, he was
screaming.
On the phone. He was definitely on the phone.
Yeah, and the judge will definitely make you take a paternity test.
Not necessarily.
But this,
it looks, if the kid is born and she says it's yours.
Not necessarily.
But if you know it's not
some of the responsibility falls on the parent, on the mother.
But if you know it's not your kid,
they have the court's job to fucking search, and then the first one come in and it ain't him. Then you're gonna bring 9 other people. It's like the court got better things to do.
But if you know it's not your kid, why wouldn't you just take the test? Because if you're screaming, "I'm not taking no fucking paternity test," what does that mean? He knows damn well it's his kid.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe he just thinks this bitch is a slut or trying to trap him. It could be a million reasons.
Yeah, but if the paternity test is the best thing you could do at that point, because then you could go, look, see, it's not mine.
Yeah, he feels like it might be his then.
Right? That's what I was trying to figure out on the way home. Like, why would he scream that? He probably thinks it's his, and he's like panicking, like, fuck.
Plus, you got to pay for them. They ain't free unless you're going on Maury Povich. So if you got $500,
all right, yeah. What else, Eric? Are we done with this article? Yeah. Just so we could see the end of the article go up. Oh my God, it keeps going. Keep going.
That's another kid?
What a big woman. Jesus Christ.
Wow,
she's giant.
That is a giant.
She looks like Kima's wife from The Wire.
She looked like a chocolate Judy Gold.
Yeah, this guy's nuts. The last line. Financially, it's bankrupted me, but I'm still very happy with the way things turned out. He says, I got $22 million in the bank. In my kids.
He probably means sperm. He's got a bunch of sperm.
Oh, I got $22 million in the bank in my kids. Gotcha.
He means sperm.
Well, the idiot probably could have done this with some kind of one-pager that they signed to help him out a little bit. And I'm sure that
a release form, as it were.
Something.
That's dumb. That's not planning. He's going to have, soon it's going to be at least 10 child support payments he's making.
Yeah, this guy's going to be, working.
Exactly.
I'm tired. I go to the gymnasium.
I want to thank Sherrod for doing 15 minutes with us today.
Yes. The show went by so fast today.
Yes. Strong. Want to thank Brad Thor and Cormier.
Daniel Cormier was great.
He was awesome.
And good luck against John Jones. I mean, I like Jones, but Daniel's a very, very nice, likable dude, and
very likable,
very tough guy.
Who's your money on?
If I had to pick, I'd probably say Jones because he's such a great fucking fighter. Yeah, but I literally stink at picking fights. But I am picking Jones to win. It's not that I necessarily want him to win, but
you just feel like that's his.
Yeah, I want to see Frankie Edgar beat Aldo. I want to see. I don't even care about Velasquez and Travis Brown. But I kind of like Travis Brown.
If Cormier beats John Jones, wow, will that be a story?
Hold on, stupid thinks it's because of him. You know what? I changed my.
Oh.
No. No. You're not a UFC fighter.
You got me there, Chip.
Oh, my God. I ain't picking because of you. Give a fuck if you got the same name.
All right. Sherrod, he's got his A&A show July 6th.
No, it's actually July 13th now.
Oh, they
July
moved it a little
13th
bit?
because they want more. They wanted to introduce it to the press. Yeah, it's great.
Well, I'm glad I brought it up then. So it's July 13th on A&A.
Yes.
Called Black and White.
That's right.
And the tour name has been, I've been pronouncing it wrong. It's Mouthful of Chimay, and it will be this Friday. I'm in Albuquerque at the El Rey Theater, and Saturday I'm in Salt Lake City at the Depot. And coming up, Orlando at the Plaza, which is where, unfortunately, that poor American, the voice singer was murdered. So the theater right now is closed. I'm sure it will reopen by then, but just call them. I don't know what the answer to that one is. In Atlanta at Buckhead on the 25th. So I'm happy to finally be getting back to the ATL.
Right on. All right, guys.
And thank you, Brad Thor and Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, kids. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye.